Hey everybody, and welcome back to Feathers and Friends, where this is episode 112. I'm not going to check to make sure, but we'll figure it out. I'll edit it later. As always, I kind of want to go ahead and thank my sponsor. Susius are my favorite. For those of you who are watching on the YouTube, you probably noticed something's a little bit different right now. And yes, that is why he is our sponsor. Gaio, he does sex advice and a lot of other fun stuff. He just recently decided that he's going to go to 2 episodes a week, I think is what he said, where he's going to try to lower it down. I've been chit chatting with him. So you're going to get more of his beautiful face out there. And remember, you can always call in and text to him because he actually has his information. So Susius are my favorite. Thank you, sir, for sponsoring this
That was a
episode
fun
once again.
show to guest on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to ask, how did that go?
really well. Yeah, really super well. But so the same. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to the latest Evil Mark
N-
show.
no, like I was Behind the Bastards did a 4-part series on Alexander the Second or whatever, and I like
Okay,
just finished that up on my drive home. But
gotcha.
you guys are all next. You guys are next.
All right. Well, I won't spoil it, but
Okay.
because the Evil Mark one obviously comes out before Gaio's
Okay.
post, because I think he said it was going to be like 3 weeks or something. So I
Ooh,
think there's still a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. Time is just so like yeah, I would say like because I've been so busy with shit at work, it's just been like time is like uh
it's there. It is
yeah.
kind of sort of there. Yeah. No, I gotcha. But
So that one of the stories that I told on Susius Are My Favorite, I just told on Evil Mark show. So it's kind of out there in both places. So because I was kind of wondering about like how I didn't know what Gaio was gonna want to talk to me about. Like he had made mention about like being like a millennial or like being from our generation and being married for a long time, which I have
hmm
been. And so like I didn't know how personal it was gonna get.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, it's good, but like it also kind of loses a little bit of its luster because that same like main story that I told there, I then just told like in a brief snippet kind of thing. Like obviously the one with Gaio goes into more detail, so because it's a little bit more of a long form thing than just like a off the cuff kind of question that I got from Mark. So
Oh, okay. So is the long form better than the TLDR?
I think so. Yeah, there's just more like discussion. Like the entire episode is pretty much talk about our relationship, which is, great. Well, great now, but I mean, again, I don't want to get, I don't want to spoil it. So anyone that's interested in this, go back and listen to Evil Mark show number 23
Yep.
if
Yep.
you're
Number 23.
curious, and
And
then
then Gaio when he
you'll hear
decides
it.
to release that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I did want to give another shout out here. I know you haven't been watching or much on Reddit, but dude, like I was saying before, Reddit is plastered with the Ukraine thing. Like the Taliban
Literally.
is calling out the Russians. Who was it? Oh, Anonymous is like, hey, you forced our hand. We were gonna do this a little bit later, but now consider it all out warfare. And like they've already hacked devices and they're losing crazy. Like everybody that can is going up against the Russians. And I came across this post where it says another Ukrainian Giga Chad. And for those of you, do you know what a Giga Chad is, Eric?
No, I know what a Chad is. So I'm assuming like a Giga Chad is just like the ultimate like
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z version of a Chad. Okay.
Yeah, just ultimate alpha male move. So to stop the advance of the tank column, the decision was to blow up the I'm probably going to slaughter it here. The Heinchesk Bridge. The engineer uh, Sakan Vitali, very Russian name there, volunteered to perform this task. He mined the bridge but couldn't leave and blow it up, and blew it up together with himself. And the unit actually successfully redeployed per the land forces. So like this dude literally made like the ultimate Saving Private Ryan kind of sacrifice.
Yeah.
So my hat is off to you, sir, as a veteran, and I just want to say, well done. I hope it's just not in vain. So
Yeah, it's always admirable when you hear those kind of the stories and just like the stuff from like Audie Murphy and whatever, and like how he
yeah,
survived all that like shit is just astronomical. But it's like I'd like to think that I would have that kind of like bravery in the moment, or especially like if it was like the ultimate sacrifice to save your friends, your comrades or brothers in arms or whatever. But like I don't know, like you never know like that fight or flight when it actually hits, right? Like if you're gonna just like cower in the corner or if you are gonna step up to the plate. So
yeah.
it's kind of yeah, it's just one of those things.
So my hat is off to you, Sakan, or I'm butchering Mr. Vitali of the Ukrainian, and I'm hoping he's an engineer or something like that. So I wanted to get your opinion on this because Rev kind of touched on it, but I want to hear from somebody who I think might have a different line of thinking on this. So the International Space Station's U.S. and Russian astronauts will continue as normal despite the outbreak of war, NASA says. This is an article coming to us via the independent.co.uk. What are your thoughts on this article?
Well, I mean, like if you're on the International Space Station, like where else can you go? It's not like you can just call a cab and be like, "All right, fuck you guys, I'm out of here," and just like jet back to Earth. I mean, it's not that simple. Like arrangements have to be made, obviously, to get out of here. So, I mean, I think in the short term, like they have to just kind of continue to be diplomatic and be like, maybe they have that kind of like rapport together
Hmm.
after being like in a confined space for so long that they can be like, hey, I like you guys, but what your leader's doing is kind of fucked up, like,
Yeah.
so maybe let's just try to keep it professional and not be like a nationalistic kind of thing. But I mean, how can you avoid anything like that? I just it's rough. It's a terrible situation to be in for sure.
I think it's a horrible article for one reason and one reason only. Scientists don't give a flying fuck. Scientists don't care. They're like, we're up here advancing society. We're up here advancing mankind. I don't care about what you dumb peons are doing. I am here. Like, it was kind of funny because Rev is like, we're advancing human civilization 30 years in the future. You guys are shooting at each other. We don't care. So that was kind of how I felt about it too. Was it's like
Yeah,
they shouldn't care.
I I mean, obviously, everyone's personality is different, and we can't speak for everything. Like, we don't know their personalities. I mean, I'd like to think, but also, again, it's just our biases because we are Americans. I'd like to think that the
Hmm.
Americans would kind of have that noble kind of approach, like we're doing this for the good of all mankind. It doesn't matter, like nationalism aside. And you'd probably think that just because, again, I don't know how much of it's like Cold War influence, we kind of probably tend to think that it's like the Russians would think like, oh, everything for Mother Russia,
Yeah.
and then like they throw science out the window and everything is just like, okay, now you're our enemies and we can't converse with you. But are they that way? We don't know. Like,
No.
who knows?
I feel like if you're going to become an astronaut, go into space, work in a big multinational agency, I don't think you care too much about who your fatherland or homeland or motherland is. You're just like, I'm in space, bitches. What? you know?
Yeah. The universe is my realm. That's who I call, that's where I call home. Yeah, it's just weird, and I don't know when this is going to come out. Like how much more things are going to escalate. Like we could very realistically, you could just post this in 2, 3 weeks, and we
Yeah.
can be in like in full scale war. And then with like whoever's listening to this, maybe from our charred remains, this your podcast is like the lone survivor, and they're just like, oh, those guys are just speaking so like flippantly about it. It's just like you don't know what's going to happen. Like you like to think that cooler heads are going to prevail. Like I just don't get like the territorial aspect of it, and especially like to be bombing shit. Like even goes back to like World War I and World War II. Like we
Yeah.
want this new territory, so I'm going to invade it and bomb the shit out of it. So level it so that this new rubble can be part of our territory. Like what the fuck is the point of that?
Yay,
You know,
we own
you
cinder blocks.
yeah, exactly. You would think that they would be like, the Putin would be like, hey, we could support you, financially and get you guys into, like no longer being on the fringe of being like a third world country. We're gonna like propel you into like a first nation kind of basis, but you have to be, part of Russia proper.
Hmm.
And you'd kind of think that's the whole adage about you catch more flies with honey or whatever, right? Like you'd
Yeah.
think that that would like sweeten the pot more than like I'm gonna send troops in there in tanks and bombs and shit, and you're gonna give it up, or we're gonna fucking wipe you out. Like,
Yeah. I
okay, and then you're gonna have a bunch of rubble, and
Nothingness. Yeah. I
that's stupid.
I mean, Ukraine's not like a third world country. They most definitely aren't. I think they're like a second or what we might consider like a first because they're kind of like on that verge. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've seen the insides of some of those videos where like outside you're like, well, that's like 1940s Russia inside. Okay, I got you. But yeah, like that's so dumb. Like why the fuck would they even do that? Like That's the dumbest idea. Like if I was trying to like take over a place, it'd be like, "Hey, we're invading. We don't want to do anything because we like everything you have and we want to keep you, keep you happy at us. But hey,
Yeah,
I'm your new daddy." So,
exactly. And then if you are nice and like go with the humanitarian approach, then they're more likely to follow you instead of like rise up in some kind of like rebellion. Like if you just go in there like with a hostile kind of takeover, do you not think that there's always going to be some faction that's going to be pissy about it and want to try to rise up? Like I guess Russia's is like, okay, if we just bomb the shit out of you and defeat your army, then you don't have the means or the ability to do that. But and then so you're just gonna like roll over. But I don't know, man. Like I just I don't understand. I just don't understand having that ego. Like
it's mind-boggling, isn't it? It's mind-boggling how it just fuck, I don't know. Oh, and by the way, this is everyone can see now my calendar now. This is actually gonna see. I thought this might come out on the 26th because I might bump one around and put you ahead, because I didn't know how much we wanted to like really get into the whole Ukrainian thing. Because like I talk about a bunch of video games and Marvel with Alex, and I've got that all set to go. Where like I just lose my mind about some dumb video game shit. But I was like,
that's awesome.
this will come out on the 12th. It's whatever. So I do kind of want to shift gears here because I did have some things I wanted to actually talk to you about. Not
Yeah,
the
let's do
Marvel
it, man.
stuff yet, not the Marvel
Okay.
stuff. But so CD Projekt Red donated 1 million PLN in solidarity of Ukraine. Guess how much that is in the USD? So
You
they donated
said 1 million.
1 million Polish zloty, I think is how you pronounce it. 1 million Polish zloty is what they donated,
Okay.
because I guess that's where CD Projekt Red is from. But just guess how much USD that is.
Okay. I don't want to like I don't know if I've talked on here before about like about Polish people. I work with a lot of Polish people,
Oh,
and
okay.
they're incredibly nice. Don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
like every single one of them is just dumb as fuck. Like, I mean, I'd always heard growing up like the jokes about like Polish people being stupid. I'm like, no, that can't be true. I
Yeah,
mean,
the dumb
there's like
Pollock.
there's a lot of like scientists and whatever that have been Polish that have been made like groundbreaking kind of stuff for humanity, so they can't be stupid. Like every single one of them. Again, super nice, just dumb as shit. And they all speak to, so great example of this is
Yeah.
this guy who's formerly who's no longer with us actually like not alive, which is a shame
Oh,
because
oh.
he was a super nice guy. Um, he had a lot of medical issues, but I mean,
Okay.
hell of a nice guy. But he was born and raised in Poland, but then came over here at 17 years old. So this guy was working for us, and he was like in his 60s before he then finally retired and then passed away just recently, unfortunately. Um, but lived here for what 50 years
Yeah.
and still spoke like the most broken fucking English, like because he just his wife was Polish. He had kids here that they just spoke in Polish all the time. Like he never bothered to just try to completely assimilate. Everything was in Polish, and so it was like 50 years later he was still speaking broken English. And so he was a service technician that reported to me, and he would go out on these jobs and he would come back and be like, you make for a report for me. I know, don't know this word. You maybe make for I write down. And he hand me like this napkin with this chicken scratch on. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck this says. Like, you maybe just a little bit. I make for fixing. All good. Like, dude, you have been here 50 fucking years. I am assuming if I had to live in Poland for 50 years, I could probably speak fluent Polish, or at least conversational. How you cannot have a conversation in English is beyond me. But there was this one report that he had written, and it was the same. I wish I had it. He had written the same word, and I don't remember what the word is, but he wrote it 3 times over the course of the report, and each time he spelled it differently.
Nice.
Like he tried to write it, I guess, phonetically and just couldn't do it. And so
Nice.
like every time it was different. It was like, I so
Oh my
sorry,
God.
that long-winded
Yeah, you're
rant, but that's
fine, dude. It's uh Like yeah, that was so weird because like my brother Yosh went to he went to Spanish. He went to Spain where he actually did like that was year 5 of Spanish, right? For his business thing. And like he met a dude at a bar and like that was his buddy. So he'd go out to the bar and like he would practice conversing in Spanish with a Spaniard of all fucking people. And like by the end of it, like he could have like full in-depth, full-fledged conversations. And he was there for 6, 8 months. Like, how were you here for more than 5 years and not be able to at
Exactly.
least, okay, maybe you
Exactly.
don't lose the accent, but you could speak little bits, like,
But it was literally it's every single guy. Like I mean, because it's a manufacturing building, so these guys are again incredibly nice people, great mechanics, just like bar none mechanics. Like anything that you want made, you know that you can give to them and they'll do it the right way. But that's the thing. Like all day long, they would just speak to each other in Spanish, go home and speak to their families or I'm sorry, not
Polish.
Spanish, in Polish, and then just never fucking bother to learn English. And it's like obviously you guys have to go to the DMV. Like you have to you have to interact. You've lived here for 5 fucking decades. How do you not speak the language? It's just it's boggles the mind. Uh,
uh,
so now I started all that to try to say I don't want to be offensive to Polish people, and I've just been lambasting on them for the past like 5, 10 minutes or whatever. But so
yeah.
I think that cat's out of the bag. So
Well, I mean,
let's
I
move
am
on. What do we got?
25% Polish, so I'm now a little offended. Just 25% offended, so.
So my stepmom is part Polish, and
Okay.
so that means that my half brother Dylan, that I do the podcast with, is Polish, and so like every like he'll say himself, and he's got a good sense of humor about it, because like if he'll do something dumb and he's like, oh, that's the Polish, it's
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Nice. So, back to the original question.
okay,
CD
sorry,
Project Red donated a
yeah,
million Poland zloty,
okay,
Zloty.
yeah, that's
What
where
is
we're at.
that in USD?
A million. I'm gonna say that's like 20 grand US.
Wow, you are not giving them any credit whatsoever. Yeah, you are. You are. That's very
No, known monster.
yeah, known monster. For those of you who are listening, he's got a shirt that actually says "known monster" on. Wow, that got super meta and that killed the joke. Good job, Jared. Way to go. It's actually $243,081.53.
Okay.
So a
I mean,
very
that's not bad, but you
yeah.
hear that $1 million amount and they're like, wow, they're really stepping up. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's almost a quarter of a million. It's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but
Well, I
it's
mean,
not nearly the impact of a million. So,
yeah, it might have been like 250,000 a few days ago because like on Saturday, February 5th, it was like 20 because it's like 20 because now it's 24 cents to their dollar. And a few days ago it's been 25 and then I think because of the whole war thing it came out. But I mean still like a million in your currency that you live off of on a daily basis, even though it's like a quarter of what the US is, that's really fucking impressive to be like, yeah, here's just a million of the currency that we live off of. That's awesome. So
yeah.
throw that out there. Ah,
So aren't they what did you
yeah.
say, CD Projekt
CD
Red? Aren't they
Project Reg.
they're the developers of Metro, aren't they? Which doesn't it take place in Russia?
I think they're Metro, Witcher 3, Cyberpunk. Yeah, all those
Okay.
guys out there. Yeah. So
Hmm.
speaking of video games, um, so Nintendo apparently dropped like a copyright claim on a dildo that is for Bowser.
What?
I fucking kid you not.
I Oh my God.
Okay,
Um,
well,
nope. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna get
no,
canceled for that.
no, say it.
It's purely a joke. This is not something that I want, but I like as I have a tendency to like will things into existence on the other show. I was
Yeah,
gonna say it's like what's next? The Princess Peach pocket pussy or what? Like
fucking go figure. I mean, and here it is in all of its glory. I don't know if you can see it,
I
but
can't.
yeah.
I don't know that I want to see it, but
Oh, well, I'm sharing my screen, homie.
I know, but it's like
Oh,
it's
is it?
small.
Oh,
It's super tiny.
Oh, go figure. Oh my God, is it the wrong screen? I probably shared the wrong screen. Good job, Jared. There we go. Now I'm sharing. Is that the better screen?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The PP
What
got
the
claimed
fuck?
by Nintendo. Uh, so it says like, "Hello, it's Ray from Patreon or whatever." But like,
Uh,
somebody made a dildo of like who in Nintendo was like, we gotta shut that shit down because now everybody thinks that is a canon Bowser cock.
well, so there was that parody, like when the Super Mario Brothers movie came out with John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins.
Yeah.
There was naturally a parody, like porn, I think with Ron Jeremy, because like of course, go figure, like he's the guy that looks closest to like Bob Hoskins
Oh my
or
god.
Mario. So I think it was Ron Jeremy and like God knows who else. And Nintendo like actually bought it just so that they could bury it. So they
That's
actually like Nintendo owns a porn.
oh my god, that's
So I mean, this
hilarious.
kind of tracks. Like next thing you'll know, they'll be releasing that, and it'll be like, "This is the perfect companion piece to the Super Mario Bone World or whatever." It's Bowser's cock.
I mean, it's just so glorious. Like it's spiked, it's got like ribs and it's even got a little gothic bracelet around the base like it's a fun like it's so cool. Like it
It's
like dude,
the Bowser
Nintendo.
cock ring.
Yeah. Well, it's a Bowser cock ring and a Bowser fucking like Nintendo, how do you know that this isn't just going to completely backfire on you?
Because I'm sure they know that like e-girls are gonna like probably go gangbusters over that. They're probably thinking like, hey, this is gonna track really well for like a OnlyFans kind of thing from an e-girl standpoint. That is gonna be like dressed as Princess Peach, fucking yourself with the Bowser
But you can't.
Zelda.
But Nintendo, like,
Like,
they said, yeah, White Claw, good job. But like, it's just why you got to stop it though. Nintendo was pretty much like, you got to stop it. You know, you've got to stop this, and it's just, it's insane. I mean, like if you, I mean, I guess it's like collecting a dead girl's nudes. It's kind of like a rare Pokemon.
oh my God! Oh Jesus, that got dark.
I'm sorry. I've been waiting to say it. Like oh, wow, fucking someone's gonna talk to me about. I know I'm gonna get a text message on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday about that. I know that. What is it? The 13th, 14th, or 15th? I will have someone texting me. It's like you need to fucking explain that immediately.
Yeah,
All right.
let me fire off an angry missive.
But it's funny because one of the messages it says explain from Bacon explains why Princess Peach is always at his castle. Oh
See,
my god.
I was making the joke, but it's already like it's already there.
Yeah, well,
So
I mean, we're 3 days late, so I mean, I'm sorry, like it's fascinating to me that Nintendo was like, yeah, we're gonna no longer make this something that you can sell or use, and it just Nintendo, I love you, but sometimes who knows? What if Nintendo's got like a shell corporation that like they shuffle it off to the side and they're like, no, 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 you could buy it here.
I'm
It's got
telling you,
awkward
man,
for you,
like
didn't it?
along with the porno, they're gonna release that as like a tandem set. Like I, they started out as a trading card company, so you
It,
never know what other kind of
yeah.
kind of shell, yeah, like you said, businesses they got going.
I'm sorry. I know that got really weird for you. I see that on your face, and I like
I was
it's
just kind of, it just came out of left field. It was just like one that shook me to my core. But like, no, I'm rolling with it. I'm kidding.
well, it's like it's just Nintendo of all things. Like what? Like I'm sorry. That's why I interview the OnlyFans girls. Like if you don't know me in real life outside of this podcast, you catch little tiny glimpses of how big of a pervert I am. I am. Look, I ordered a mouse pad of like basically hentai because I was like, she's a cute redhead, and I don't want this black one anymore. Like
Let me see it.
I don't have it. I don't have it.
Oh,
It comes. I'll post it on the Discord, on the Evil Mark
okay.
Show Discord on Monday. It's not like a complete nude, but it's very provocative. But like one of my playthroughs in Fallout 4, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going straight Kawi with this shit," and it was a fun experience. It was fun, and I'm just a big fucking fat pervert, so it's so bad.
No, I mean, I've said like more than once, I think, over the course of your show, and I try to like emulate it in everyday life. I'm a super huge, big, feminist and for women's rights and equality and all that kind of stuff. Given an opportunity to play as a female character in a video game, I absolutely would do it. Given opportunity to customize said female character, I absolutely will try to make her as hot and as possible. And like, what was it? What the hell game was it? Oh,
Skyrim.
Saints Row the Third, where you could like customize your
Yeah.
character, and like
Yeah.
I gave her like the biggest boobs, and it's like yeah, I was like anyone like Gloria Steinem would have come in and like you call yourself a feminist and like get this is what you're doing, and I'm like yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm sorry, I'm still a heterosexual male, so it's like yes, I absolutely adore women and think that they deserve all the equality in the world, but still as the heterosexual male, I'm gonna find you know the
I,
woman's body appealing.
what
So
was it? What was it? The so when Mass Effect, the Legendary
there you
Edition
go.
came, I know it's, dude. I haven't been able to talk right at all day at all today. I was fucking up like I was like I forgot the word for golf course. All right, and I say that like 20 times a day. So fucking yeah, that's where I'm at today. But when Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition came out, like they ask you, can we collect data off of you? And I was like, yeah, I've been playing Mass Effect for a while. I believe you guys are doing the right thing at BioWare/EA. And like I think it was a year later that it came out. Like 40 or 30% of the people that played through the game that opted in to give their data played as Fem Shep.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, like so thinking about all the cute e-girls that are out there playing as that beautiful bastard himself, but like I don't really like playing as a guy, you know? Like I feel like playing as a female, putting her as a badass, and I know we've talked about this a billion times, but like you kind of got it. Like you got to give her due, right?
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
yeah, for sure. No, I
Okay.
absolutely agree with that. I
Okay, so
can't fault you on it.
I was gonna save. I wanted to go to this next, but I guess we're gonna jump right into it here. I sent you I sent you a photo. And in that
You did.
photo, it says that you have to build with $15 your team to go up against Thanos.
Hmm.
Now, it's got a bunch of Marvel characters, and I've got a bunch of them actually here myself. Um, Now I guess we'll kind of go through it here. For $1, you can get Loki, Drax, Viz, Hawkeye, Bucky. For $2, you can get Star Lord and a couple others. I'm not gonna read it off. That sounds really boring, actually. Just go ahead and Google. You have $15 to draft a team to bet best defeats Thanos. Choose who you want. Now, how did you pick this? Did you pick it full gauntlet Thanos, or are we talking just Thanos at the start with just one or two of his shiny diamonds?
Didn't matter. I chose two characters, and I think that would be enough to do it.
You think two is gonna best the mighty Thanos full gauntlet, fully powered?
The two that I got, as evidenced in the movies that we saw,
Does she have blonde hair and is maybe getting canceled herself off of one movie or two?
getting canceled herself. What are you
You
talking
didn't
about?
hear about that?
No.
Oh, there's a bunch of backlash. Her movie got pushed.
What are you talking about?
Carol,
Captain Marvel 2?
Captain Marvel is kind of getting shuffled a little back, or I think she was supposed to have a cameo, but they're not sure if they're doing anything anymore because of the shit that she's been stirring up. No, you didn't read that, or maybe I read
No.
something that's completely fabricated and fake news.
God, I hope so. No,
I
well, I mean, so if we're getting into it, that's
yeah,
so Captain Marvel, obviously, for anyone watching the video, like can tell that I'm a huge, Captain Marvel person.
yeah,
So she was my $5 pick. And also, I just want to sidebar here real quick
okay,
because
okay.
I don't know if my buddies Jake and David from Let's Play Death Ray and Life is Unfair, I don't know if they're listening to this, but if they are, this is proof positive in this thing that Captain Marvel is the stronger character than Scarlet Witch because they have Captain Marvel as the $5 option and Scarlet Witch, Wanda is the $4 option. But those would be, I would spend $9 total, and then my remaining $6, you can go out and buy a Whopper or a couple Whoppers whenever Burger King is doing like the specials. Because I think both of them went toe to toe with Thanos. Carol, even when he had the glove, and she was
Toe to toe. She was
she
toe
was
to
toe to
toe.
toe.
Mm-hmm.
when everybody else, like you think about how strong Thor is. Thor's a god. Iron Man, and Captain America, and all three of them like were getting worked. Even Captain America with Mjolnir was just like they couldn't stop
Mm-hmm.
Thanos. And Carol comes in there when he's like fully gauntleted up, and she's like, "No,
And
I
even a
got this."
younger Thanos, a younger, stronger, more headstrong Thanos than the older, weaker guy too.
Yeah.
So,
So I mean, because like Jake and David's argument is like that Wanda Scarlet Witch is like the stronger, or she's the strongest character in the MCU, like even above, Captain Marvel, because she was able to fabricate the entire town and like, keep everybody kind of under her spell and like go
mm,
through all that kind of stuff. And also to like do the generation, like generate like the television show that people in the outside world could actually have access to. Plus they also said like, oh, she was like shredding Thanos and caused him to like call for, his own people to rain fire and like, kill his own troops because she was like working him over. But yeah, that was, I still, she's incredibly powerful, don't get me wrong. That's why I'm teaming her up with Captain Marvel, because then I think it would just be like, all right, let's go get those whoppers after, like, because this is done and dusted.
that's a very actually solid point, and I'm not happy that I didn't come up with that. So, because I mean, you're right. Scarlet Witch was taking him on. She had him dead to rights until he rained fire. And I mean, Danvers was going toe to toe. Same thing. She had him on the rope, and then he dropped the Power Stone and had to punch her with the Power Stone ungloved. So that just
Hmm.
tells us like how effective both of them were. I actually chose a little bit of a different team. Um, my initial pick was Vision and Hawkeye, just because Hawkeye with those distraction arrows I thought would be a good thing to do. Because I mean,
Okay.
you kind of saw how they were doing that when they were on Titan and fucking with him a little bit with some of the distractions with Spidey. Wong, because I think Wong is underrated. He knows some shit that Doctor Strange doesn't know. Uh,
Hmm.
Mantis, because she subdued him. She got on top of him, subdued him, was good. Spidey, just because he was part of that little crew, and then Strange. I think
Okay.
I think you put together Strange and Wong, they can come up with something good. Viz is a
Yeah.
calculating great machine. Hawkeye's really good at that. Spidey's good at the fuck around and find out. I'll be somewhere around and you can find out. And then
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that same thing, where she subdues him, and then Strange and Wong do their magic best, and maybe don't fuck up a spell and alter the whole reality of the universe into the multiverse.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, I think there could probably be compelling arguments made for just about any combination of a team. I think like the
Mm.
characters that they have selected, like I don't see anyone really that like I don't know, Ant-Man at $4 is kind of a stretch to me. Like I don't see that he should be that high.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I would probably swap him out with War Machine because War Machine has, you know, he's not Tony, but he's got just as much
Well,
clout with the suit. So
I
yeah, I
think it's
mean,
just it's this the Spidey thing. You don't know what Spidey's gonna throw at you, and it was like the Russians. The Americans don't even know what they're doing. So how are we supposed to know what they're doing? Or no, is that the Germans in World War II? Yeah, the Germans. The Americans don't know what they're doing, so we can't tell what they're gonna do, and that's why I think they're at $4. But I see what you mean with War Machine is because he is actually combat initiated, whereas not so much. You know,
yeah,
I
yeah,
see that.
and I don't know. I mean, Black Panther, like T'Challa, obviously a really cool character, and I mean, great movie. But him as a $4 character also seems like kind of, I mean, over Scarlet Witch and Gamora.
Mm,
Like Gamora's like a number one assassin in the galaxy or like in the
yeah,
universe, and she's like second fiddle along with War Machine to.
yeah. Switch.
Uh,
I could see them taking T'Challa and Ant Man and going down to three for Gamora and War Machine, and
yeah,
then uh, I would actually take oh god, what's her name? The blue girl. Why
Nebula.
Nebula? Switching Nebula and the Black Widow. Switching
Okay.
them two because
Yeah,
Nebula is technically kind of almost the same assassin, but just not quite. And
yeah.
then Scarlet, like, no offense to ScarJo, like, but you ain't got no fucking powers, girl. Like you're just really you're like you're on the same level as Clint Barton. Like I mean, maybe even just move Bucky up to 3 and bring you down to 1 because at least
Ooh, that's
he's
that's a
got a
little bit of a
metal
slap
arm.
in the face.
He's got a
Yeah,
vibranium arm, and he was brainwashed to be a number one assassin. Like, come on,
yeah.
like
Obviously, they had to make do with there was only so many selections that they can make. So I mean, it's
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty good for the most part. I dig it, but yeah,
I
that was
mean,
fun.
yeah. I don't know. I have some ideas about Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. I just think I think it's weird that she's so OP on everything, but yet like she kind of hangs back a little, and it's like you if you can if
Well,
yeah
they had to do like the Deus Ex Machina kind of thing. Like that's they had to have her like fighting on the other side of the galaxy
yeah
for like the entirety of Endgame and only coming in at the last second, like after getting like repeatedly, kind of called because if she had been there from the onset, it's pretty much game over. Like
yeah
she is like yeah, incredibly overpowered, but that's also the reason I think that she is the most powerful character in the MCU, and it would be like the perfect leader of the new Avengers now that Captain America is retired,
yeah
living his best old man life. So
with Peggy not bagging out them kids. I was talking to Alex about that. Like is it not like so if we go back to the original Avenger, the first Avenger, Captain America, like isn't
mhm.
it weird? Well, I mean, he explained it away that like it was so secretive that there were like no pictures or nothing like that. But how would she, in her dementia, not be like, "Oh, Steve, my love, it's you. You remember that dance we had in '55?" And he's like, "Wait, what? I was in the ice till '68." Like, come on, like they're. I don't, I'm being pickier here, aren't I?
Yeah,
I'm
I
being
mean,
picky.
yeah, you just gotta have to. I think for the most part, they're pretty good at like doing the interconnective kind of things and limiting like plot holes and like doing a really good job, especially like modernizing the stuff because some of the stuff like the origins from the comics, it's like from a completely different era, and the way that
Yeah.
they've been able to modernize them for the MCU is just like kind of really admirable. I think they've done an incredible job. And
Yeah.
as much as I know we've talked at length about comic
Hmm.
book stuff before, but as like as much as I like a lot of like DC characters and their animated stuff is really good, the the movies are just so fucking shit, and it's like and they're never gonna ever like the best DC movie is on par with like the worst Marvel movie, in my opinion.
We may no longer be friends anymore, Eric. No, I feel you. Like I like where DC is going with it. They're dark, they're gritty. It's a different world than what Marvel is building, but there is a stark difference between one of the best Marvel movies, like the difference between like I put the Zack Snyder cut as like the best DC out there because it had a different ending. It made more sense. It showed everybody as the Justice League becoming the Justice League, and it was nice. It was a nice thing, and but like that is like maybe one of like the middle rows with the Marvel movies because like I didn't really cry in Justice League, the Snyder cut, but in like I've had multiple Marvel movies where like I am actively crying and trying to like not cry to look like a bitch in front of everybody else,
Oh my God. So like I wanted to
Yeah.
watch No Way Home more than once in the theater, and lamentably we only got to see it the once in the theater. But like I'm sitting there, just like just bawling, and my
Yeah.
wife's like, "Are you okay?" Like this is this is the beaches or whatever, like one of your like chick flick movies. Like that is to me like yeah,
This
it's
is
still
when
like
Tony
newer. So
confesses his love to Sandra as he's dying with cancer.
well, I'm super lucky because she likes all the MCU movies as well. Like she loves comic book movies, and she will actually like go out of her way to say like, "Hey, let's like." It was actually her idea to like, "Hey, we should watch all the Marvel movies again, like in the order, like
Oh,
not chronological order from when they were released, but like when they were meant to be like in the timeline. So like talking about like Captain America and then Captain Marvel and then like going on from there. So yeah, that was super. It was super cool, and I'm like, keeps them like, I'm so lucky like that you are on board with this.
I fucking hate you so much right now.
I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna. Can I tell you a story about my GameStop adventure today?
Absolutely. Please do.
So I got off the phones at 5:30, and I am literally on the last leg of the Spider-Man DLC. Like I'm playing through the original Spider-Man, and I'm about to dip my toe into Miles Morales. I'm getting more Miles Morales. He's calling
Mhm.
Peter Parker. I'm getting revved up to be Miles fucking Morales, and to watch the transformation and to see it as Peter Parker die. And I'm getting all excited, and I go in. And I call up GameStop. I'm like, hey, do you guys have the Miles Morales for the PlayStation 4? And the gal's like, yeah, we do. We got 2 copies, $30. I'm like, fucking 10, saving $10 from having to order it or the $20 online. Great, go in there. And I'm like, maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe nobody's in the shop. And she's there. She is, she's not the, she's not the most gorgeous, but she's like a Wisconsin 7, right? She looks good. Like she's that gamer girl. What? Fuck you. What is so funny, Eric? What is so fucking funny?
Oh, Wisconsin. You just said it so matter of factly. She's a Wisconsin 7, which is like a thing, like a scale that everybody is gonna know. Like a
Okay.
Wisconsin 7 is like New York, what, 3? Like I don't know. What does that mean? How does that equate?
So like like when you meet a person where you're like if you just wore a push-up bra or if maybe you wore a bra today or maybe yeah you threw on a little bit of the nude makeup like you'd be coming out and their guys would be fucking like coming to your store and be like I'll buy whatever you're shilling, right? A
Okay.
shill. There you go. Wow, I learned what that word was today. I saw you guys use it enough that I was finally like Google that word. So
Yeah,
so
from
I
us, I was calling Mark a SEC shill. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I kept reading it. I was like, I don't know what that means, but I'll eventually figure it out. And it took me like 2 weeks. But okay, so I go into GameStop and she's there. Nobody else is there. She's got short red hair. I'm like, ah, I love red hair, even though it's dyed. And like I was like, yeah, maybe wear a push-up bra, but she's very well endowed. I'll just say that she's very well endowed,
Okay.
and she's very cute. She put on her mask, and I was like, okay, so she's respectable enough. I was like, that's cool, that's cool. And then so I'm thinking I've got one of those cards, one of those cards. I'm like, hey, you'd be kind of perfect. So I was trying to be a little flirty, and as we're checking out, she's like, oh, I see that you're a GameStop rewards member. I was like, yeah, because I signed up for free, and she starts trying to upsell me, and I'm like, no, honey, this doesn't work. I don't come into GameStop. I'm PC. I was like, look, all I have the PlayStation 4 is for Spider-Man, right? And she's like, oh, well, if you play on PC, you can buy it. And I was like, look, I'm not gonna fucking drive 20 minutes to buy a Steam card to then earn points to come back and buy more Steam cards to get off. I was like, no, I just put my fucking credit card in and wait for the Steam sales when everything is 20 to 50% off. I was like, you're not cute enough for me to do that. And like, so I denied her like 3 times on the upsell. And I was like, this is not a good time to hand her my card, is it? And be like, you're kind of cute. I'd like to hang out with you afterwards. After I was like, no, I'm not buying what you're selling 3 times. So I was like, all right, no, that's fair. and and so I walked out with Miles Morales, and it's downloading on my PS4 right now, and hopefully it'll be done by the time we're done with this conversation.
Nice, nice.
But I am going back. I don't know what for, but I'm going back.
Maybe Diablo 2 Resurrected. I don't know.
Mm, I don't play such twos. No, I have three. You have to get three for your shitty little. Yeah, how fucking dare I say a video game is better? If you could see his face, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
What? What? You can't fucking do that and not say shit. Come on. We're
I
kind.
can't. I've already played through 3. I played 3 on PS3 when it was like first released because
Okay.
I was playing it with my brother and I platinumed it. Like that.
Wow.
That is a lot of dedication because you have to do like
Yeah.
get how what was like 50 million gold or something. It's something like obscene. Like that was by far and away the last trophy that I had to earn on that one. And yeah, it was a long time coming. That was a fun game, but
Where are you at in two, though? Let me ask you that. Would you be willing to start over and stay on pace with me? Because Gaio,
yeah.
if you're listening, the fact that you were like 200 levels above me is it's kind of not that fun, but I really enjoy talking to him. Because like he'll carry me through. He's like, oh yeah, let's do some riffs, and like I will literally go out fully powered up, full gear, like the best I have, and I'm like poking a demon with a toothpick. And God was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you can't do that." I was like, "Yeah, no, I know I can't." So- but
Yeah,
it's
no,
yeah.
absolutely. You can have like 25 different characters. So I've got like a bevy of, I've got like one of every character going because I'm gonna like try to platinum this too because I love the game so much. So like I think it's the same with Diablo 3. It's been so long since I played it, but I think like there's normal, nightmare, and hell, right? Like in
Uh,
terms of like the difficulty levels.
I think there's easy, normal, hard, extreme, torment, and then it just keeps going up in torments. Like Gaio and I are
Oh,
on like
okay.
torment 12 now or something like that.
Holy shit. Okay, well, so Diablo 2, there's normal, nightmare, and hell, and
Okay.
like each difficulty level has five acts, like five
Oh, okay.
different worlds, and then like all of them, with the exception of like Act 4, have I think six different like main quests that you have to complete
Mm-hmm.
in that act before you can go on to the next one. So. No, my buddy John, that we played Diablo 2 on PC like way back in the day. I got him into it, and he didn't realize that because he got a
Mm-hmm.
PS4 as a present or for him, from his wife.
Yeah.
But then he's got two like teenage kids, and so that quickly got absconded by them. So I was like, hey man, you need to like ground those kids for a couple nights a week so we can play
Nice.
some Diablo or whatever. So yeah, I just started a new character to play with him. So I would absolutely, I would be willing to do it with you if you want. I don't want to force you into
No,
doing something
I'm
you don't
just
want to
fucking with
do
you.
though. So
I'm fucking with you. I'll get Diablo 2. You can play with the mouse and keyboard on the PS4, can't you?
I
Cause
don't know.
okay,
I believe you can, but I'm not sure. I play
all
on
right,
control. It works really well with control. Like you
okay.
can you
Do
can
you
map it to the controller.
do I need to have like the online PlayStation Network or something like that, or can I just like link up with you as a friend on PlayStation 4 and call it a day? This shows how much of a fucking Microsoft shill I am. Did I use that correctly?
Uh, yeah.
Okay.
Um, that I don't know. Like, yeah, do some research on that before you actually invest in the game because I don't want you to like buy something you wouldn't play, otherwise.
Oh
Because
no,
I think you might need to have Plus to be able to play online.
okay. I mean, like, if it's like a $10 game, like I don't mind it. Like, I think if I can get it like with EA Play, like I got a couple of games with EA Play not too long ago because it's like 4.99 and then I get to test them out for a month to see if I like it. I think that's a pretty cool idea. I
Hmm.
wouldn't mind getting EA Play if it comes with like Diablo 2 or something like that. But yeah, I would see. I knew I should have asked about that when I went in. I'm so
Well, but now
fucking.
you got a reason to go back. You said you
I
wanted to go
have
back, and now
I
you got a
have a reason
reason.
to go back. Hey, yeah, you know how I denied you on your upsell? I think you'd make a great girlfriend.
Let me upsell myself as your
Yeah,
boyfriend.
gotcha. Sell of myself. I got two birds. I love video games, and you're just cute enough to be my girlfriend. So, oh, that'll win
Wow.
her over. I know.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my heart's melting.
Oh fuck. See now. Oh god. See now I can't ask her out because if she's like, oh, what are you doing in your spare time, honey? Oh, I do a podcast. Oh, what? And then like if she
And then
listens to
she'll
the full,
listen.
she'll listen to
Yeah.
full. Yeah, we'll be 4 months into the relationship. She's like, so, I just heard your podcast with Eric, and I'll be like, what? I did a
Which
bunch of
one?
them. But which one? The one where you called me a Wisconsin 7. Shit, I'm gonna be single, aren't I? All right. So, so
Maybe she would take it as a compliment.
maybe.
Maybe she has low self-esteem and would think that, hey, I'm only Wisconsin 5. And
I hate dealing with women like that so much. God. Oh,
what, with low self-esteem?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's, it's because like I build their self esteem up, and then they're like, oh no, I'm hot shit. I don't need you anymore, Jared. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, backfired.
Well, I get it for a little while, and that's all that matters. So I have a question here, Eric, because
Yes, sir.
there's a photo on here, and it's it's from the subreddit Egg IRL, and it's a place
Egg?
called Egg
Okay.
underscore IRL.
Okay.
So I'll explain it to you. Basically, it's memes about trans people in denial. So people who are trans or whatever in denial. And it's a really funny fucking meme here, but it brings up something that I think is super interesting that I'd like to ask you about. The meme just basically says, "My friend just found a picture of me in a miniskirt and showed it to almost everyone I know while making fun of me." Would you post something potentially online for the world to see if you were embarrassed about it?
Would I post something? No.
Yes. Okay. That's what I thought. Because I don't understand why. I mean, it's probably a meme making fun of something, but this has happened before where
Well,
oh,
but
go
you
ahead.
you said you said that this person is saying that their friend posted it and everyone's laughing at it, right? So it's not them. They didn't post it online. It's their friend did it, and so they feel like betrayed by it, right?
My friend just found a picture of me in a skirt and showed it to almost everyone I know while making fun of me.
Okay.
So my thought process on it just says my friend just found a picture of me in a skirt. I don't know if it's a picture online. I don't know if it's a picture on your phone or if it's a
Hmm.
picture somewhere that you have of you in a skirt. The one thing that I will have a hard and fast stance on is if I take a photo of something, it's out there for everyone to see, even if it's not, even if it's just, if I take a photo on my phone and I don't send it to anybody, it's just sitting on my phone, somebody can
Hmm.
hack my shit and find in there. Like if you take a photo of something, you should expect like there's going to be no privacy with it, right? Like you should expect that something's going to happen.
Hmm.
At, assuming that they found it in some sort of digital fashion.
Well, I mean, so like what you had said, what because you had posed a question like, would I post something that I was embarrassed about? Like it sounds like from what this person is saying, I don't think that they are. I don't think that they were embarrassed about the picture. Like it was a
Yeah,
picture of them in a miniskirt. They, I don't know, thought that they looked good, thought that they looked fine. Were indifferent about it, whatever.
yeah,
Their friend then found it and is using it as like a tool to make fun of them, which is what that person is upset about, right?
yeah.
So they're not necessarily.
I mean, I think
Yeah,
there was a point that I had behind it, and you're dismantling it immediately, and I don't like
I'm
that.
sorry.
No, you're fine, man. You're fine. But continue.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I
Um,
I get where you're coming from. I just because my opinion is like if you're gonna have a photo out there of yourself in a position, like even if you feel great about, like when I take a photo with me and my kilt, I feel like I'm hot shit. I love my kilt. My kilt is like my dress up. I feel goddamn sexy in it. But I know that some of my friends are like, dude, stop wearing a fucking skirt. And it's like it's not. Whatever. You guys are idiots. Like I don't know.
right. Well, but I mean, obviously, they're not to the point where they have that case in point self-esteem that we were talking about,
Yeah,
where, they felt, confident enough in the picture, but now that it's being used against them to like make fun of them, they are feeling not so hot about it. So, I mean, I feel for them. I don't, so
yeah,
what's the egg IRL? Like, I don't
yeah.
understand. What's the egg signify?
I found a couple of photos and I found it hilarious like a year ago, and I tried to look into it and I couldn't figure it out. Like I guess it was a place for like trans people who weren't really comfortable being trans or weren't really comfortable with like the LGBTQ stuff, like being gay or something. Like it's a whole hodgepodge of fun stuff. There's just some really funny memes that are usually on there.
Hmm.
That's
So
that's
I'm
usually how
wondering,
that
like,
goes.
if the egg is like symbolism for them like being hatched as someone new,
Born again.
I guess. Yes, I guess.
Just like
Hmm.
the street hooker who's been baptized 52 times and still thinks herself as a virgin waiting for marriage.
That is an evil laugh, my friend. An evil laugh.
I've been waiting to use that in a joke. I've been waiting to use that for a long, long time. Oh, I love you, gay people. Please don't come after me. Okay. Oh, sorry. Did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I was gonna just kind of like reaffirm your stance. I spoke at length on Gaio's podcast. Again, Suits are my favorite. Really good show. Just about people having problem with gay people, and I just like me not understanding it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I had like a really huge falling out with with my dad, and with a lot of my family actually, just
Mm.
because like he always told me growing up it was like the most fucked up thing. He always like, I don't care if she's fat and black as long as it's a she. Like, okay,
Mm.
so you're not only being like racist,
A
but
little bit.
also like body shaming and like homophobic. So like, wow, just wrong on so many fucking levels. And just so it's like I've made a conscious effort like not to have any kind of like racist thoughts or tendencies, and to just like be like really open and accepting of like gay people. And uh, it just, yeah,
You
that
really
that
don't want to
should,
be canceled, do you?
no, it's not that. It's just like that's truly how I feel. Like they're human beings. Like I don't understand how anyone can like look at someone else like that's a human being and just be like, you don't have the same sexual preference that I do, so you're less than a person and I fucking hate you. Like who the fuck do you think that you are? And like what we had talked about on
Hmm.
Gaia's pod was like the connection to like religion and just like the prosecution of gay people. And like the Pope had actually come out and said like, hey,
Yeah.
treat gay people with respect, because guess what? They're people too. Like
Yeah.
they have feelings and rights and whatever. And like some idiot on Twitter was like, oh, he's not a real Catholic if he believes that. And then it's like, he's the fucking Pope. Like, he couldn't be more Catholic than the Pope.
You
So, like,
no,
it's,
the Pope
oh
is
my God.
spoken to directly by like God is like, "Hey Pope John the Fifth, yeah, I got words you need to fucking spout out." Like that's the
Yeah,
guy. That's it. That's
right.
it.
And so for those people on Twitter and just like whatever in real life to think like, oh, well, he's not a real Catholic if he believes that, is like, how fucking dumb are you? And who do you think that you are to think that you're better than the Pope or
Yeah.
anybody for that matter? Just like go fuck yourself. I hope if there is a heaven and a hell, I hope the people that are that convinced that they're like the holier than thou, I hope they burn in the hottest fucking fires of hell just for being like, for God to be like, yeah, that's not what at all what I wanted my message to be. So you completely got it wrong. You're the piece of shit. Hit the bricks, Like, oh, it drives me so nuts.
I have three stories that I think you might really thoroughly enjoy. One story is about my mommy. I love you, mommy, but I'm gonna crack in you here. The second story is the second story is about Catholicism and how weird it can be sometimes, and the third story is about a gentleman who claims he had been in hell. So
Okay.
I'll make it real quick. The story about basically a priest baptized, instead of baptizing saying "I baptize you," he used to say "we," kind of in speaking in the congregation. Well, the Catholic Church is like, yeah, everyone who is what was it, baptized by him is now not baptized because he was using the wrong word. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Shit you not. That's why I was surprised if you hadn't been on Reddit. Like that was it was a big fucking story. Where instead of saying we, the Catholic Church, baptize you, he's supposed to say I because he's the blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
that's stupid. That's dumb.
So I wonder, like, if they truly, but that's another thing. It's just like, do they really believe so literally? So it's so like, if there is a God, and like, and so
Well,
one of those people were to
here's the
die
fun
after
thing.
being like baptized with
Here's
that,
the
like,
fun
God's
thing
really
though.
gonna be like, oh, you weren't baptized the correct way. Sorry, you didn't know any better, but fuck you.
So
Like, really? Really?
there's apparently three different styles to be baptized. Actually, there's the one by the priest, the other one that I didn't research, and then the third one is it's kind of like baptized by fire. You know, because like you're on your deathbed, you're giving yourself up to God. If you've been baptized by the Christian Church and you are that wholeheartedly believing in yourself that if he used the wrong word, you're baptized by fire because you've given yourself to the church itself, right? You have been baptized by fire with your years of service to the church as a community member. Like
Okay.
a word doesn't matter, especially by a man of God who is a mortal creature that has no sway or power, isn't even a deity, or isn't even the deity. Sorry, but yeah, like isn't that fucking stupid?
Incredibly.
Yeah. So one time we were sitting in a I almost said the place, and the place would have given away. I'm good like that. I'm learning. I'm learning. So we were sitting at a bar slash restaurant, and I forget who brought it up, but we were talking about gay people. And my little brother, Cherry D, had a really good point. And Yoshi was kind of on the fence. He was playing devil's advocate. My mom was hardcore about it. And so I was like, hey, mom, what if I was like, what sandwich do you hate at Subway? And I think she rattled off the meatball sub. I was like, yeah, so what if I order a meatball sub? Does it affect you? And she's like, no. I was like, then how does anybody else's love life affect you? And she's like, it doesn't. I was like, then why do you care so much?
Exactly.
So,
That is a perfect analogy.
I know, I'm sorry. I got stories for days. Feeling good.
It's your
Feeling good.
show, man. That's
I
what we're
know.
supposed to do. We're supposed to just like, share stories back and forth.
So, do you want to hear about the demons in hell?
I would very much like to hear that.
So, I'm pretty sure this was on YouTube where this guy I think he died or he's in a coma and he had gone to hell. And he was like, God was like, you're going to hell to tell the people about this. And apparently, like, he's like 6 foot, 200 pounds or something. Like, he was a big dude. He was a pretty solid dude. And in hell, like these very scary, imposing demons were there. And he's like, the air smelt of sulfur and it was hard to breathe. And they would whip me and chain me. And he's talking about these creatures that were just big and imposing to a 6 foot, 200-pound man who was pretty built and decent size. And he's talking about how like the cage that he was in was very dimly lit. You know, it was basically red, and then the hellfire and the brimstone, and like even to get up and walk was like he was trying to. It was like you were completely exhausted, but you still had to move because they would try to move him. And I'm not gonna do it any justice, but he tells this beautiful story of this punishment, and he was only out for like a little while, but he's like, it felt like an eternity that I was in hell and being punished, and God wanted me to tell you about it. And I was like, if there was a hell, I really, really hope a lot of people go there that deserve it. And if that's really what it's like, cheers, good sir. Cheers. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was I yeah, that was the I've told my three stories now. It's your turn.
Ooh, yeah, I don't want to do Gaio any disservice by like rehashing all the stories that I
Oh,
told on there, but
yeah, I don't want to step
yeah,
on his toes then.
no, no,
Fuck
no,
him.
no, not at all. But like I guess my big thing, since we are kind of like pseudo talking about religion now, like I grew up in a very, very, religious household, and
Like,
um,
you went to school, and on Friday you went to church, and then on Sunday you went to church too. Right
yeah,
there with you, brother. Right there with
yeah.
you.
So like Wednesday Bible studies, like Friday some kind of activity, and like Sunday mass and all. Yeah. Um, but I was asking questions as one does, when you're going to like Sunday school or whatever, and like I don't remember what age, but just like they were talking about like Noah's Ark and stuff, and like we'd also like had been learning in school at the same time about like how new species of animals are like discovered all the time, and so I bring that up to like the Sunday school teacher, and I'm like, hey, so like how did Noah get all these animals that they're still like not that they like found some new animals in the Amazon like a couple weeks ago? How did Noah know to get those? Like, don't question it, like it was divine intervention, and like the Bible says that it happened, so it happened. And I'm like, well, but that's kind of weird. And also it's like, didn't it say that like it's only like like this 60-foot wide boat by like 100 feet? Like there's no way like all those animals could have fit on there. Like, do not question the word of God, and you are like, who do you think you are? Like as a little kid, just like asking questions, like with my love of animals, trying to figure out like how did this nice man Noah save all these animals?
Yeah.
And just basically got fucking like lambasted, all that. And then just like I also got a lot, like being a big kid, like as a kid,
Yeah.
like wanting to play with like dinosaurs and stuff. And so
Yeah.
like surprisingly somehow like my parents were okay with like getting me like a T-Rex kind of figure or whatever. And I had brought it with me. And then like just getting yelled at by like a nun, like dinosaurs weren't in the Bible, so they didn't exist. And it should like, and I'm like, but what about the bones that they found? It's Satan planting those bones to put doubt in the believers of good Christian people that And I'm like, really, fuck off. Like it's like,
Wow.
oh my, fuck off.
Wow.
So that was just like that was the start of like my kind of like distancing myself a little bit, and then just like yeah, like my dad and just like the hypocrisy, and also like my grandma. She would go to church, and she would be like, oh, that this she would come home and she's like, this fat ass woman in front of me wouldn't sit her fat ass down, and so I couldn't see the priest, and like she wouldn't, just like whatever. And then she'd like just come to here and just like talk shit about all these people, and then go sit in her chair, her rocking chair, and read her daily bread about how she was such a good Christian. And I'm like, you guys are nothing but fucking hypocrites, and just I want no part of that. And if that's really how like God is, if God exists and he like condones this kind of shit, I want
Hmm.
no part of it. Nothing to fucking do with it.
I love people that are hypocrites like that. That always kind of makes my day just a little bit when people are just like assholes like that. I can't stand that with a passion because people like that like it's funny because like the tales from the servers or whatever we're like, what crowd do you hate? And they're like, the brunch crowd from the church. And they are the most self-entitled, self-righteous asshole peoples you'll ever meet. And
Hmm.
like I know somebody who's very self-righteous about things. He like it's just kind of how he is, but like I'm like, dude, you gotta tone that down, like, cause like I don't mind if like the server is a cute girl and she spits in my food and she's like, oh, I'm gonna get at that, Jared. It's like, no, honey, that's kind of cool, that's kind of cute, like I've done some shit, it's fine, but like he probably wouldn't like that, and you're like, dude, you just treat people with respect and kindness, like that's the biggest thing, if the ladies like remember, did I tell you about what I did with No Way Home in the movie?
No.
So when I
Mm-mm.
went to see it, this guy brought his girlfriend, and his girlfriend apparently didn't know jack shit. And so like every time somebody would pop up, he'd be like, "That's so and so," blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, it's fucking Sunday opening like weekend. Don't bring your fucking girlfriend who doesn't know. And it finally got to a head. He's like, "Oh my god, that's Daredevil. He's da 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 da. He's a blind lord." And I was like, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom." And so I snuck out and I moved up to the top right. And I'm like, dude, like be respectful. Like you were literally sitting next to somebody. I can fucking hear exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
taking
want to,
you out of the movie to
yeah.
yeah.
Like I want to reach over and be like, "Hey, could you not explain the movie to your girlfriend?" Like, cause I can hear you're ruining it for me. But like, even then, I'm in the 100% right, but I still feel like a big dick for it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go somewhere where I can sit peacefully and let his girlfriend enjoy it because that's how they enjoy movies, and I'm infringing upon him. But still, you're a douchebag, and you should shut the fuck up.
Yeah, 1,000%. No, I mean, those were good points that you were making about like her enjoyment level. But I mean, on some level, for him, like if he has to explain all this stuff to her, it's taking him out of the movie as well. Like, how is he able to enjoy it? So it's like if they're used to that kind of dynamic,
Yeah.
then yeah, more power to him. But yeah, I absolutely 1,000% applaud your decision to just like I don't want to hear that
Oh,
constantly.
if I had nowhere to go, 100%. Hey, boss, you need to shut the fuck up. You know, but yeah, like I've sat with women when I've watched a brand new movie and they were like trying to pick up on it because they were doing me a favor and I enjoyed it. We were sitting on my couch, we were just watching a movie, and I was talking her through what it was because it was a sequel, and she knew I loved the movie. I think it was The Kingsman, and like I kind of
Okay.
explained it to her, and she really really enjoyed it, and I thought that was sweet of her because I'm like, she's trying, and so like I
Yeah.
was able to enjoy the movie because I'm like, this is that little, and like it was fun for me. But
But it's
again,
also like at your house, so I'm
yeah.
assuming that you can pause it where it's like it's not a public setting where there's other people around who are also trying to like who have paid money for this, who
Hmm.
are trying to enjoy the experience, who it's being taken out of because they can hear someone go like
Especially
even
on
if you
opening
can't hear
weekend.
the words of
Yeah.
what they're saying specifically, you can hear it still enough like it's
Oh
like,
no, you could hear words. I heard everything he said. I heard everything he
yeah.
said. So Eric, are you ready to lay into some people?
Let's do it, man.
All right,
Like
good.
I've already laid into hypocritical Christians, Polish people, the Russians, you
fuck the
name it. Let's
fuck the
talk
fuck the
about.
fuck everybody else. We don't care. Fuck everybody today.
I never said fuck the. Never said that.
It was a joke, people. It was a joke. Don't Joe Rogan me here. All right, so I've got one, two, three, four, five. I've got six. Oh, and by the way, I got a phone call from the person I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a text on after this episode airs, which is kind of interesting. Um, so I've got six here. Do we want to start off with? Do we want to start because there's relationship stuff. There's four relationships, ones and two non-relationship. Where are we
It's your
starting?
show, man. It's your
No,
show.
you're my
What?
fucking guest. Where do you want to start?
So you have the tabs open on your
I've got all
screen,
the
right?
tabs. Yep, I've got
Go
the.
with go with tab 3.
I'm actually on tab 3 right now, believe it or not. Uh, I'd show you my screen, but I don't want to do any more editing that I already have to. So, advice. I think I married a racist, homophobic, transphobic man.
Oof,
I,
get
a
out.
20. What?
Get out.
Do you
Divorce.
not want to hear the story?
No, 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 I'm saying that no, but that's gonna be that's gonna be my advice.
So I, a 24-year-old female, have been married to my husband, 25 male, for 2 years now. 2 years now. We were both raised very conservative slash Christian homes. We both have friends of different races, genders, and sexual orientations, or so I thought. With this new Florida bill, and especially the new Texas bill, I have discovered a couple of things. He agrees that kids should not be taken. He agrees that kids should be taken away from their parents if the parents support them being trans. I told him I did not agree with that at all. He also thinks that with the Florida bill, teachers should tell the parents about kids coming out as LGBTQ plus. I am not done. He also he has also used the word retarded several times, which I shut down immediately, and he knows that it's not okay. He still slips up from time to time since he did it for so long without thinking of all the consequences, so that's not the real issue anymore. As far as the racial things, he mocks people's accents, especially Indian people's, on their phones and makes stereotypical jokes. I don't view this as okay? Question mark, question mark. I am honestly at a loss for words. I love this man. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's some lovey dovey shit in there. I don't care about that last part.
So, okay, full disclosure, there's I think a difference between like making some fun of someone's like accent or making fun of a specific person and generalizing an entire race of people.
Okay.
So, we have some customers who are Indians that we have had to have several like Microsoft Teams or Zoom meetings, and I always have to make sure that I'm audio only, not video, because they'll be on video and I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of speaking with, and I'm not making fun of them. It's just like it's their mannerisms. It's what they do. When they're talking, they sit there and they do like a bobblehead kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's seeing an entire conference room like lined like five people deep on each side, like all chiming up and saying something like and like doing a bobblehead, it's fucking hilarious. And I don't think it's racist to laugh at that because they obviously they know that they're doing it.
Yeah.
They continue to do it. So um, that's where I'll stop with that one. The other stuff, like I don't know. I mean, obviously, your interactions with Mark and Gump, I'm sure that you've they tend to they lean conservative, and to me, like they've never said anything to me like racist or like uber in my mind there's a difference in being like a conservative Republican and being a racist piece of fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, Trump was not a conservative Republican. He was absolutely a racist piece of fucking shit.
I will agree with you on
and
that.
and I don't think that those two match up.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people that try to justify it by saying I'm a Republican, okay, that's fine. You can have Republican values, conservative values. Hating someone because of their sexual orientation or the color of their skin is vastly different. There's nowhere in like the Republican bylaws that say like brown people are like fucking evil and
Mm-hmm.
whatever like Trump was trying to say. That's the those two things don't meet hand in hand. And so
I
I don't understand. I again I don't want to just like continue to say that's the same thing or talk
no,
in circles.
you're
Like
good. You're
I
good.
don't get how people can have those kind of feelings. Like I hate you because you believe
Mm-hmm.
or act as a different way than I do.
I
So fucking dumb. Who are you? Who are you to make you the most important person on the face of the fucking planet that everyone should like completely agree with everything that you say and everything that you believe? Like, give me a break.
I will say this. I'm a little biased. I think I'm a conservative or I'm a liberal. I forget what my mom told me because we had a conversation one time. It was actually a really fun conversation. We walked all around her town that she lived in. We walked down by the Wisconsin River, and like we had a full fledged like political conversation where my mom learned a lot about me and I learned a lot about my mom. And I learned we don't talk politics, so that was the one thing we learned about. But like I don't know where I land. And that's the weird thing, because when people are like, "Oh, Republican this, Democrat that," I'm like, "Yeah, well, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole." Like that's just how I see it. Like either like, and it's coming from me, but I think stereotypes are a thing for a reason. And I hate to go back on what you said about the little wiggles. Like you look at some stereotypes and you're like, yeah, no, that is 100% true because this always happens. I've been known to drop a hard R with with what she was saying, and I was reading it in her context, and I don't really want to throw it out here because it's something I use inside where I do something really stupid. I'm like, oh, I'm ridiculous. I don't really obviously say that, but like
Hmm.
I feel comfortable saying it because is it not depreciating? What is that word? I'm self-deprecating on
Deprecating,
myself.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
deprecating on myself. But like you got to wonder, is he being just dark military humor? Cuz there's been some shit. I've told some jokes and I've heard some jokes in the military where like I look back at it and I'm like, "Wow." Like it was The Office with Michael or whatever, where they were like, "Hey, would you
Hmm.
do a reboot today?" He's like, "Never in a million years could we do what
Hmm.
we did back then nowadays." And
Yeah, fair point.
you gotta wonder, like, is he being on? Like, is he for fucking real, or is he just trying to kind of be funny? Because Rev has got a lot of great takes, but you're like, when is Rev being Rev, or when is he just like throwing a hot ball at you because he know it's gonna be funny, and it is funny, you know? So like, that's my question: is like, is the dude? Does he like mock him because it's fucking funny, or does he mock him because he genuinely hates these people? You
Right. Yeah,
know?
there is a difference.
Yeah.
For sure. Uh, yeah, again, I don't think that's okay even to like make fun of gay
There's an
people.
extent. There's
Yeah,
an
sure.
extent. If it's above a certain tolerance level, yes, okay, like keep it under a tolerance. But once you surpass it, are you really making fun of them? You know?
Well, I mean, because like, also I was listening to several of Gaio's Susius are my favorites episodes where he's talking about like mentally handicapped people, and he is friends with some mentally handicapped people, and
Yeah,
he was saying like he drops the R word like in their presence, and they're not
yeah,
offended by it. It's like so okay, like he kind of has the past because he's got friends who are have that condition, and they've kind of like given like carte blanche granted permission for it.
yeah,
Like I don't know. I think he's conscious enough, like he wouldn't just go out in public and just be like, see, people that he doesn't know that had that condition. He's like, hey, retards. Like I don't think
yeah,
that he would be like that
yeah.
insensitive, though. Um,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
it's
it's just
it's Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
no. I was just gonna say, like you were just making mention. It's all about context, and it's all
Hmm.
about like, are you saying it in like in a joking, playful kind of manner where you don't really have like a malicious intent or forethought like against them, or like do you like I hate them because they exist? That's a vast difference in my opinion.
The perfect movie to understand. I mean, it's great that you brought it up because the perfect movie to understand the difference between making fun of somebody or even just looking at them. Johnny Knoxville's The Ringer. You want to watch a movie that totally sheds a completely different light on many different things out there, because I used to have an art class right across from the special needs kids who would have art class. Some of them were the most dope motherfuckers I ever met in my life. They just happened to be confined to a wheelchair and really like to paint suns. Like there was a guy that I met, like he painted suns really well, and like I had a few passing conversations, but this was way back in Texas in high school. And like you watch the movie Johnny Knoxville where he's like acting, they're like, dude, we fucking know you're no, that's not how we are. We do that for attention. Come on, man. And like they make fun of themselves and they understand, and like it's so meta, but it's so dope,
Hmm.
And it's awesome. Yeah. So cool. Wow, that got weird fast. All right. What
It
tab
always
next?
does.
I've got 5 tabs now. What tab next?
Okay, so let's stick with tab three because
God
now it's like
damn
it'll
it.
be perfect in the middle.
I, a 16-year-old male, think my 15-year-old female sister is attracted to me, and I'm really uncomfortable. Background info using a throwaway for obvious reasons. My little sister is generally a good kid. We're friends, 20 months apart. Sometimes she's uncomfortably touchy with me, but I usually deal with it because we're going through a tough time as a family right now. Parents are 99% going to divorce. Dad moved out, but that's neither here nor there. For reference, I'm female to male transgender, so we grew up as sisters rather than sister and brother. In case the dynamic shift changes y'all's advice. On the onto the incidents. I lost my phone the other day, and I used her to call it. God damn it, I can't read now. Onto the incidents, I lost my phone the other day and I used her phone to call it. When I opened her phone, she had like 7 tabs of erotica just sitting there. I caught a glimpse of some names which I instantly recognized as characters from a show we watched together. In the show, the characters are brothers. They have a similar dynamic to my sister and I. She has openly said she relates to the younger brother, and that the older brother reminds her of me. So she's kind of doing some weird shit with some anime there. Those two things, plus how touchy
Okay.
she is with me, several memories of her touching me sexually when we were super young, and the fact that she said a few times that she wants to date a guy like me and that I would make a great boyfriend, that makes me pretty sure she's attracted to me. I'm really uncomfortable. Some other fun stuff.
Oof.
I mean, I can take the reins on this one if you want.
Yes, please do.
So women in general that are friends, especially sisters, like I've known some sisters that just straight up fucking cuddle like they're dating on the couches, right? You know, one's laying on it and the other one's got her arm around it, like they're straight up cuddling. If you replace that with another dude, you're like they're cuddling. You know, they're dating. Women are just more touchy feely like that. That's how women are. Like, dude, when was the last time you hugged a buddy of yours?
Oh,
Pre
I'm a
like,
hugger. Like I
okay.
yeah, that's I do it. So
Okay. Yeah, because like before pandemic, I would get a hug from Alex all the time, you know, and I tell him I love him all the time. But women, I feel like women are a little bit more generally open than most guys would think. And with you
yeah.
being a female to male transgender, I don't know how far along in the surgery you are. I don't know if you're still fully fledged female platonically or not platonically. Is that the right word? Anatomically, you know,
Anatomically.
she might see the transition. She may be calling you Jared and she may be going through it, but to you, you're still her sister for the time being. And she maybe is trying to get used to it. I don't think she's sexually attracted to you, but the thing is, like, you're still her sister. Like, you're still that close knit. Like, it's like when I broke up with Emily, right? Like, we still did a lot of things together that I should never have let happen because like, I ruined that relationship with that
Mm.
friendship with her because we were so used to those things. And I think it's just that you've been sisters for how long, and you just now became a male like how long ago?
Well, 16 years, right? It was
Yeah,
16 and
you've been a woman for
16, 15.
16 years, and she's known you as her sister for all of her 15 years of existence until you decided to transition. And I'm not trying to dead name or do anything crazy like that, but like you got to remember that's not something you get over. Like my brother Yoshi, I always know him as the party college kid. My Cherry D, dude, you're always a fucking hippie to me. You always will be a hippie to me because of how I saw you growing up after you moved out. Like
Mm.
there are things that you always will be because you're my brothers and I like to shit on you a lot. So get used to it. But that's my takeaway. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, it's not so easy, like you said. And maybe it's simpler for someone that's like new to knowing them to just easily be like, hey, you want to be, known as male. You're going by male pronouns now, so
Yeah.
that's simple. But yeah, to your point about, they've been sisters like her literally her entire life, all 15 years of her existence to this point, she's known you as her sister. And
Hmm.
now that you're going through this transition, it's not so easy just overnight. Like maybe she can be perfectly like accepting of it and just like supportive and wanting what's best for you and supporting you in doing that, but it's still like you don't just go like that. Like you were a girl and now you're a guy and that's it, and we're never gonna have any kind of like questions about it.
Yeah.
It's not, that's not human nature. It's just not that simple. So about like, yeah, also to your point about women in general typically are just more, kind of touchy feely, and
Yeah.
especially if they have that kind of like close knit relationship with you like a sister, she kind of feels like, so I mean she makes mention specifically about like the sexual kind of touching, like, so I don't know
When they were
what
younger,
that's about.
but
Like
like
if
if she's talking about younger when she was like
oh,
they're
excuse me.
15, you're good, they're like 15, 16 now and like they're younger, like dude, little kids do weird shit all the fucking time. Are you kidding me? Like I don't think any kid is cognitively like there until they're like 9 or 10. Like you remember Jeff Foxworthy, the comedian Jeff
Yeah,
Foxworthy?
yeah.
Yeah, he had a joke where like he's got the TLDR of what just happened. I think kids don't cognitively come online until they're like fucking 10. And so anything a child does that's under 10 is just like, roll a d20 to see if your action works. And whatever you get is what you get. So fucking oh my god, no. Fuck
Oh,
you,
and
Eric.
you didn't want to edit.
Yeah. Well, I have to edit. I had to edit before. Now it's like I have to edit twice. There's, like I said, there's some shit I'm willing to put out there, but I know how. Like I heard that coming out as I was speaking it, and that it even didn't sound good to me in the context of I'm trying. Like
Yeah,
I
and
am
you saw the look on
panicking,
my
trying.
face, like.
I'm trying to panic to get the right context, and it's not working. Maybe I'll just find the
Fair
Jeff
enough.
Foxworthy joke and just insert it, and hopefully he doesn't care because he's 70 now and fucking
Still no. I
still
think
no.
that
Okay, still no.
let's just skim over that.
All
That didn't
right.
happen.
Know that fucking that is something you'll probably. Eric now knows something about Jared he probably doesn't want to. The annals of friendship. So yeah, I don't. I continue with your before I very rudely ruined your evening.
No, you haven't ruined my
Okay.
evening. What are you talking about?
Well, okay. Yeah, no, it didn't happen. Good, smooth, smooth, very smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if
So,
it happened, it didn't ruin my. That
oh,
doesn't
okay,
change how I feel about you. You
okay.
didn't. It wasn't. It wasn't your joke. It wasn't your thought process. It's like you just were trying to use it as an example. And I don't want to say anything more because I don't want people like trying to like what are they
Fuck
talking?
it, scavenger hunt. See what you come up with. Send me an email if that email is still active and I have the password. But yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about the whole thing? Like, is it like I feel like it's because it feels like the transition is just so recently, and
Yeah.
it feels like she's trying to. I don't know.
It's not so easy again to just turn that off to like view someone in a completely different light as a totally different identity. It's not so simple.
Yeah, and
So
even the TLDR down here is like my sister has a track record of being sexual slash slaying inappropriate things with me, dude. Fucking, I fucked with my brothers all the time. Like when I found out that gay humor in the military was the go to joke, and then I came home and I tested it on my brothers. Like it scared them a little bit, and I was like, dude, this is how we fuck with each other in the military. And they're like,
yeah.
really? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of the things we do. And they're like, please don't. It's like, all right. When
So
I'm
that's one thing. Like, are you familiar with the show Rules of Engagement with David Spade and Patrick Warburton?
I've heard of
And
it, yeah.
oh, it's fucking amazing. It's like, unfortunately, so it's actually I've watched it multiple times through. It used to be on Netflix, and then it used to be like syndicated. It was on um, like a late night channel, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I fucking loved it, and it's like I don't think you can find it anywhere because it
Yeah.
was one because I've been talking about like based on like your comments that you've made and some
Mm-hmm.
other people have made about like the podcast that I've done with my wife and like how funny they were and everything and how like great she was.
Yeah.
Um, I've been wanting to do a show with her, and I thought it would be really cool to do something kind of like in the vein of Life is Unfair, which is my buddies Jake and David, where they from Let's Play Death Ray, where they do the Malcolm in the Middle one. If Megan and I were to do that for Rules of Engagement, because it's all about relationships and everything. It's like
Nice.
there's a kind of like I wouldn't say middle age. They're less than middle. It's Patrick Warburton and Megan Price. They
Okay.
play like they've been a married couple for a while, like 15 years, something like that.
Okay.
And then there's like a younger couple, Jennifer and Adam, who are like newly engaged and just moved in together, and so they're like gonna be getting married. And then David Spade is kind of like their single, like Lothario, like he's the woman's, he's
Oh,
like the
go
ladies' man
fucking
kind of guy.
figure.
Yeah, and so he's like always like going out and like the Barney kind of How I Met Your Mother, like where he's screwing everything that moves. It's just really like really well written, funny show. But the point of that is like a lot of their kind of humor because it was from the early 2000s was like they're all pals, but like if they want to get at someone, like kind of get on their skin, that's like the go-to is calling them gay or whatever. And so I'm like,
Mm.
I'm guessing that's probably one of the reasons why it's like been taken off of syndication and it's not as prevalent as it was, and it's like a lot harder to find. Like, I don't know, King of Queens does that a lot, and that's on like fucking every day, multiple times a day, and that's another great show. But like Rules of Engagement, that was like the humor that I don't like really appreciate, but I also understand that it's like of that time, like the
Yeah.
early 2000s. Friends was like that, and Rules of
Oh
Engagement,
yeah. Oh
obviously, and
yeah.
King, like every sitcom that was out there, like had jokes like that was a like kind of an easy go to, like oh, a guy's like wearing a pink shirt, call him a queer, and
Yeah.
that's ha ha. It's just it's a different world now than it was then, but it's yeah, to your point about like the military, that's kind of what you do. You don't really think that they're like homosexual, and you're not like you don't hate them
No.
if they were. It's
No.
just that's kind of like the go-to to say that they're gay. And is it
Well,
right? No, but
the gay humor was actually very, very different than that, to be completely honest with you. But all right, I think we had two very different versions. You being the little puddle pirates, and me being the
hey,
Triforce.
that's
So
Coast Guard.
yeah,
Puddle Pirates is
you're still a puddle pirate to me. The ocean is
okay.
if you can cross the ocean in under 12 hours, it's a puddle. Apparently, that's yeah.
Hmm.
So I guess we're sticking with the theme of three here, right? We're sticking with the theme of three.
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
As a girl who I've been seeing for a month from work wants to do something sexuals at lunch, but not sure if I think it's a good idea. We've been dating for a month now and have lunch together, which is an hour. She lives like 10 minutes away and flirtingly said that she's got a free house. But we only have 40 minutes and also need to eat. My concern is the following. Firstly, I have no protection as I didn't expect to be sexual today. I'm moving out in 2 weeks, so we'll have privacy then. Also, I may feel rushed, and finally, I haven't shaved down there as I wasn't expecting it. But I am turned on by her, and I just don't want our first sexual encounter to suck. What do you think? Oh, I got an upvote. I answered this already, but
Huh. Okay. So when was this posted? Because it's obviously past lunchtime.
yeah,
So
this 14 hours ago. There's no
okay.
update. I might ping him to get an update. I'll try to see, but my pings to try to get people on the show or like talk about it have been,
Hmm.
dude. I can't get anybody from Reddit to fucking talk to me at all. It's
Really?
ridiculous. No, no.
Well, I thought that's where you got all the OnlyFans people from, wasn't it?
Oh,
From like
dude,
our
like,
selfies and whatever.
dude, everything's been failing lately. Like, I have a guest who I think would be so fucking baller to have on the show, but like,
Hmm.
I just can't get her to fucking commit. I can't get her to hammer out a time. Like, and I've got
Hmm.
these people that I'm like, you would be so fucking cool to have on the show, and I just don't get a response.
That
So
sucks.
maybe I should just create a new Reddit and start over and be like, hey, no.
Brand new here.
Maybe it's because maybe Reddit is tracking all the naughty stuff that I look at, and they're turned off by that. But all right, who knows? But okay,
So they're
but
shutting you down. They're like, yeah, we've seen his history. We can't like
well,
let.
they probably go out to his page and they like because I think I turned it off, but like they're swiping left and they're like, "Wow, you've got some kinks, bud." And it's like, yeah, I do. But
Nice.
I want to hear your take on this. Like, what is your take?
Okay. So obviously whatever has happened either happened or didn't happen. So like what would I do in that circumstance? I just I started laughing when he said like, well, we've only got 40 minutes and we still got to eat. Like, okay. Like if this is if you're super into this girl and this would be like the potential like first time, I wouldn't think that you would be concerned about the food, first and
No.
foremost. I would think that, like, throw that argument right out the window.
Yeah.
The whole, like, haven't shaved down there, like, okay, like, how bad is it? Like,
Yeah. Fucking Jungle Boy or
yeah, so I don't know. I'd throw kind of that argument out as well. What else? Like, okay, not having protection is probably pretty valid. Like, and then he's talking about, um, just like if they wait a couple weeks, like they'll have a place of their own that they could theoretically do that. I'd
mm-hmm.
say yeah, like especially if you aren't sure and you would feel rushed or whatever, and you're definitely concerned about the meal that you have to have.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, just wait. Don't do something that you're not comfortable with or like yeah make an awkward experience and rush like yeah certainly if it's the first time and you're trying to make it like if
Mm-hmm.
you force like if you see yourself having a relationship with this person going forward and you are concerned about like the first time being a memorable experience, then obviously it's not something you want to do like as a rush job when you have all these other things like weighing heavily on your conscience. So I would say just wait. What say
Sorry,
you?
I have a potential date tomorrow that might get rain checked because I've been having some sinus issues this afternoon. Whoops. And she doesn't want to get sick, so that's understandable. No, I think it was like what was it? It was Thursday. I started to feel a little bit of sinus pressure, and then today I felt a little bit more sinus pressure, and I took some. Dude, the springtime is not a good time for me, like at all. It's
Oh, you're
not.
calling this spring?
Yeah,
We just
I'm calling. It's like it's warming up, dude. I
we
don't know
just
what
got
it.
like another 6 inches of fucking snow
I
today,
know.
so
Well, that's what happens when you live in a shitty part of the country.
yeah.
So no, I don't know. Like like it gets super dry right around the February March time frame here in
Mm,
Wisconsin, and like
hmm
my sinuses just act like like I literally took horse pills to get over a sinus infection, and like I was out of work for like 2 weeks, and like I'm like like how am I all of a sudden like 2 weeks later getting a sinus infection again, or like like it's stupid.
Well,
I
you
hate
said
it.
you took like ivermectin or something? You said you literally took horse pills.
Yeah, I literally took fucking horse pills. Like 825 milligrams of amoxicillin and potassium. It was,
That's still that's still figuratively because you're saying that they're horse pills because of the size of them. They're not literally pills for a horse,
they were
right?
the size of a cap. You
That's
know,
still figuratively though. Like literally, if you're
whatever.
saying literally,
Whatever.
those
Like,
literally would be actual pills for a horse.
okay, I took big fucking pills.
Okay,
All right?
figuratively horse
I
pills.
figuratively took horse pills. No, it was 825 milligrams of
Okay.
amoxicillin and potassium mixed together in a pill that was the size of a 20-ounce Coke bottle, fucking spin off top. It was not fun,
Wow.
and I had to take it twice a day, and it sucked total dick. But anyways, this dude hopefully got his dick sucked. Um,
Jesus.
but like no, like this shit is so dumb because people on the internet, I've got a partner pining after me, and I don't know if I should fuck him. It's like, dude, I literally just read an article that 25% of Americans have not had sex during the pandemic. 25% of Americans aged
Wow.
18 to like 55 have not had sex during the pandemic.
Wow. That's
Like,
holy cow. That's a long time to go.
what the fuck? Like, dude, you have a girl who, like, number one, okay, and this is my little spiel here to him. I said there are literally situation like this that every single person would love to have if they had somebody that was interested in them. If you want to be extra careful about it, even if you don't have protection, like you don't have to like get it in and then like right before you're about to fucking lose your mind and let the fireworks go off, then pull out. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel a little like firework time here, exit, and like, and then I was like, dude, there's so many other things in there. She can give you a little, a little hand job. She could give you a mouth hug. There's so many other things that you can do.
Mouth talk.
There's so many other things you can do. And dude, this is why you always stay prepped and ready. I trim my beard the same way. I keep my beard clean for a reason. You see those commercials about Manscaped all the time. Manscaped, please send me some shit. Sponsor me. But like, you see that Manscaped stuff all the time. Like there's a That's Good Sports that I watch and the Packcast on YouTube, right? They talk about football all the time. They're sponsored by Manscaped all the time. And like if it's been a minute, I'm like, oh, that's right, Manscaped. Yeah, go fucking clean that shit up because you never know. When I drop the card, she's like, I'm actually free tonight. What are you doing? Fucking you. That's what. You know?
Not suave. That's
Yeah.
very suave.
But like it's so dumb that you're thinking about food. Dude, I gotta eat after like no.
Yeah,
Fucking
that
have
seems
your
like
afternoon
low on the
delight.
priority list. Yeah.
If some girl was like, hey, you can bone me for lunch, I'd be like, I'm not having lunch today. Well, I probably would have lunch because it would last for about 30 seconds and then but it'd be like, it'd be, I maybe wouldn't be able to make soup. But like it's just fucking come on, man. Like, stop telling us that you're getting your dick wet. You fucking stop with these stupid questions.
Yeah, again, I'll never forget that one that you brought up that one time about how do I open a can of soda quietly? Like, why do you go on the internet to ask this kind of shit? Like, that's just stupid. And this is it kind of feels like humble bragging, kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, this girl's super into me and like I got a chance to get it in, like that it feels a little bit like it's a humble brag kind of deal.
I hope she's ugly to me. I hope to me she's ugly and
Like a Wisconsin too.
a Wisconsin, yeah, a Wisconsin too. Even the Eskimos would be like, we'll pass on her. All right. So we're gonna switch it up here. because
Okay.
you want to talk about good. All right, so we'll do this one first. So, is it wrong to not be honest about myself being a high school dropout? I'm a 19-year-old girl who's just about to turn 20, never graduated high school, struggled a lot with mental health, so I never really prioritized my high school education. I tried to do it online, but after being kicked out from home and on my own, work became a priority. I have career goals that I don't necessarily require me to have a high school diploma, but if needed, I will absolutely try to get my GED. I feel proud of the skills I've learned learned outside of school, and am fairly educated and am a fairly educated girl. This is not a reflection of her typing. I just suck this much. Also, have been very fortunate to have a lot of work experience, so I never really struggled with having a full time job, just minimum or a little over that. I have goals to learn. Oh, that's a word I've never seen before. Esthetician, ESTHET, esthetician, or hair
Esthetician. Yeah,
esthetician.
that's I think that's specifically like the eyebrows
Oh,
thing.
and hairstyling at a school next year, which doesn't necessarily require a high school diploma. So I've got a long term career plan. Now, the problem is I cannot be open to sharing that I'm a dropout all the time. It's a taboo topic, and I am not honest with certain people in my life, which makes me a bit sad that I feel I can't be. For example, those I work with think I graduated. I never said I did. Just said that the last school that I went to, the person I'm romantically seeing thinks the same, and it's the same circumstance. Is it wrong to keep it to myself? Is it something that is super necessary to share? I mean, I know it's good to be honest, but part of me wants to put it behind me if I even can. Sorry, that was a tough read.
Hmm. Um, if you're really that concerned about it, like if it's a sore spot and you're embarrassed, then just focus hard and get the GED. Like if you don't have any kind of aspirations for like higher education, like if you don't plan on going to college, whether it's, a 2 year, 4 year, whatever, then like a GED should be more than sufficient to do whatever it is that you want to do. Like,
Yeah,
or you just tell people that you graduated high school.
yeah,
Like, I mean, if that's all you aspire to do is just be like a high school graduate, then yeah, either A, get your GED, or just fucking tell people that you did. More
yeah.
than likely, employers are not going to check.
No,
Like some employers don't even check if you have like a college degree.
no,
Like you're rolling the dice, like if you make that up, but like yeah, they're probably not gonna ask.
no.
So just
I,
but I mean, if you truly do, again, feel bad, like you don't want to lie to people and say that you are like a high school graduate, then get your GED.
I mean, I don't even know why they asked me. Like, I'm 30 fucking five, or almost, I'm almost 35, and they're still like, what high school did you graduate? And it's like, you're not gonna fucking check.
Yeah, what
You're
do
not
you
gonna check.
care?
Like, what is that gonna improve? Like, I've only needed my high school diploma for like one job, and that was it. And it was a government job, and that was it. Um, so like, and I mean, honestly, it shouldn't, number one, it shouldn't matter because I mean, I've told you guys all about the one circumstance in my life that I'm slightly ashamed of. And it's really funny because every time I'm like, hey, I'm quite ashamed of this thing, people are like, you shouldn't be. Like that, you're like, that does not change anything about you. I just know that there's this thing about you. And it's really fucking interesting because I don't even see why it would be a topic. Like, why would someone be like, oh, you didn't finish high school? You're fucking stupid. No, like
Yeah,
if someone's like,
exactly.
I didn't get a GED, I'd be like, yeah, you're working as a hairstylist. I don't see why doing math is good. Like, touch my head. It's a very odd shape. If you can figure out how to cut it good, I'm gonna come to you every single time. I don't care if you can fucking do 30 times 30. You can cut my hair the way I want it to, even though I don't have any anymore. But you know what I mean. Like, it's not important to me. I could care less if you graduated high school or not. All right,
Exactly.
that's it. Cool. Awkward silence to call it a day. So we'll finish up on a long one because I think it's interesting. A
I thought
17-year-old get what?
wasn't there two more? I
Yeah,
thought there
there's
was
two
still
more.
two more.
There's two more.
Okay.
No, I was
Okay.
calm down. You'll get your
Uh,
questions. You'll get your
okay. Okay.
questions.
All right.
I promised you seven. You'll get seven.
I don't want to shortchange the people.
You're not fucking shortchanging anybody. So, child in a car. Do I report? I'm hoping for a quick answer, which was 11 hours ago. To for blah. I just pulled into the gym at about 9:20 a.m. here and noticed that there's a child in the backseat of a car parked here. They aren't in distress, probably just watching something on their device. It's a bit chilly here though. It's under 40 degrees Fahrenheit. My question is, do I report this to the gym? If it's a single mom or a dad trying to get their workout in, I am worrying about creating more problems for them. However, they could possibly just have their child come inside and da 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 da. To clarify, I would report to the gym manager, not the police. The car is running. The child is approximately 7 years old, definitely no more than 9 or 6. And okay.
So again, why the fuck do people take to Reddit to ask these kinds of questions? Like, you brought it up, so obviously there's something like
Something bothers you.
you're having a moral conundrum about
Yeah.
this. Like you definitely feel that it's something that you should report, but yet you're going to the court of public opinion on Reddit and waiting for a response. Like you're going to be going into the gym, so you're going to be what? Like walking on the treadmill, waiting for like, oh, there's only 6 people that say that I should report it, and 7 people that say I shouldn't. So I guess I won't. Like what are you doing? Like either mind your own fucking business or if have like some backbone to say I feel strongly about this. Like yeah, the child doesn't look distressed, but it still doesn't like it's not a like a good situation and say something. Like say something either to if it is just to the management of the gym staff or call the cops or whatever for a wellness check or whatever if you feel that strongly about it. Don't be waiting for people on the internet to tell you how to fucking think. Oh
Yeah.
my god, so fucking stupid.
So the one thing that I notice is that if a car is running, that tells me one of two things. It tells me that it's most likely just a quick in and out thing, right? Like that's usually if you leave a
Yeah.
car running, even if it's like to the grocery store with your kids in the car, you're not leaving them for more than 30 minutes to an hour. And I mean, I come from a different era where that was like okay, where like you could just sit in the car, on a
Mhm.
hot summer day, or even the middle of winter, where I'm just like playing on my Game Boy, and my mom's like, "I'm going in. Do you want to come with?" And it's like, "No." She's like, "Okay, I'll leave the car running," and I'm fucking playing Nintendo. I'm playing Game Boy for 45 minutes while she goes grocery shopping, and she doesn't have
Yeah.
to worry about me being an idiot. Um,
Exactly.
that's what I would think. That is my immediate first thought. So do you want to hear the outcome?
Please, yes, if there was a yeah.
So
You got a
Mr.
follow up?
Yeah, there's an add on here. So Mr. Puddin Jones says, I say monitor for 10 minutes total. If nobody comes out, tell management of the gym. Continue to monitor the child, and if nothing is done within 10 minutes, you contact management, call the police. So the update is management quickly responded to my request, checked video footage, had the woman in question take her child home. Thank you for this. This helped. So the woman was working out while the kid was in the car, presumably locked and turned on. And I mean,
I
like
mean,
I'm for it. Like dude, just fucking let
like
people be. Yeah, like the
like you
car's
said,
on.
uh, there was it's a different time now than it was then. Like I definitely had circumstances like that where it was just like my mom would run in, she wasn't going to be gone very long. I would just sit in the car, like yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, summer, winter, didn't matter. Cars running, cars not running, whatever. Sometimes I like so one time we were sitting like in a grocery store parking lot, and I had my dog with me, Duchess, who was a wonderful pit bull. She was just absolutely wonderful. Just fucking dog was amazing. I used to dress this dog up in like people clothes. Like I could do anything to this dog, and she was oh man, she was fucking top notch. But this lady comes like barreling out of the fucking get that kid away from that dog. It's gonna rip his face off and blah blah blah. And she's like wagging her finger and she's like acting aggressively, like coming towards us. And that's when the dog like started getting aggressive is because she thought that this lady was coming to like attack. So then she starts growling, which of course the lady uses as like evidence that she's gonna attack. It's like, no, the dog is getting amped up because she thinks that you're coming to attack me, you fucking idiot. Like just mind your own goddamn business and go about your life. Like, but it's a totally different world now where people like, oh can't, heaven forbid,
Can't
like,
do that. Can't do that. It's
yeah, like,
like I see a kid. If I see a kid in the car and the car is running, I'm like, that kid's fine. The kid knows how to work. Fuck, kids know how to work phones better than we do nowadays. I think
yeah.
it can. I think it can run a fucking AC unit or heater unit. You know?
So it certainly would be different, and the person stressed, like the kid was not in distress. Like certainly, if I see, if I'm at the grocery store or wherever, and I see like it's middle of summer, it's 90 degrees outside, and there's a car there, and it's not running, and all the windows are rolled up, and this kid's like banging on the windows, crying, then yeah, I'm not gonna post on fucking Reddit. What should I do? I'm calling the police, and I'm taking a stand and like making an action. But this kid was just like calmly sitting in the back and not distressed, not doing whatever, and you feel the need to have to fucking poke your mind into it. Like just oh my God, again, who the fuck do you think you are? Get over yourself. Like that mom was probably like in there working out. Was it the right thing to do? Like
No.
could the kid have been left with like the partner or with a babysitter or whatever? Yeah, that's probably the smarter play. But in a pinch, like you gotta try to get your workout in. Like things are tough. The kid's perfectly fine in the car. Like rather than bring the kid in and have it running around like a fucking yard ape, picking up like dumbbells and whipping them at people, like would you rather that? Like I think that person that made the comment about the kid's in the car would have been more pissed off if they couldn't like run on the treadmill because there was a kid like running on the treadmill
Yeah.
like like as they're trying to work out. Like pick your battles and just get over yourself, people.
Yeah.
Like
You're right. It literally says, and I noticed the child in the backseat of the car was parked there. They aren't in distress. Probably just watching something on a device.
so mind your own fucking business.
And it's weird that that you had to clarify, and this is the second clarification that they had to put on here. It's edit one and edit two. Edit two is the car is running. No, that's pertinent fucking information. The child is fine, so you shut the fuck up. You
Yeah,
shut
she's
the
like, oh,
fuck
it's
up.
it's cold because that would have been like, okay, if the car is cold, it's like below freezing and the car's not running, so there's no heat for the child.
Yeah.
Then that's a kid that actually is in distress, whether they're acting like it or not. The car is running and it's not even below freezing, so again, just get over yourself.
Mind
Like
your own fucking business.
and they also prefaced it by saying it's not like it's an infant. If it was an infant child that cannot like take care of itself, then
Yeah.
yes, you intervene. This is what like a 9-year-old kid. They said,
Yeah. No more than
"Dude,
nine.
fuck off, man. Just fuck
Yeah.
off." Oh, dude. Oh,
You
we're
want
getting
some?
through it, man. We're getting through it.
You want some bad news, Eric?
What's that? Uh-oh.
I just realized I haven't been recording this whole time.
Are you serious? You're
That
not serious.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. I had a moment of panic. I looked down. I was like, oh no, that'd be probably funny if I told him that. But no,
We still we still had a fun conversation. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't I wouldn't be upset.
Ah, well, I guess no podcast for Eric then. All right, whatever. Mark, guess what? You're filling in. All right. So
That
vivid.
would be some shit though. Like if they'd
Yeah,
be like, "Hey, when's that episode coming out? We got the one for Rev and Mark. When's that episode coming out with
it's
Eric?" I'd be
not.
like,
It's
"I didn't
not.
hit record."
It's not there. That is a fear that I have so much is that like when I hit record, like I have to stare at it for a second. Like I don't know if you noticed that, but like every once in a while, I'm checking to make sure that it says, it says stop recording with a pause button next to it because I'm like, did I like I keep checking because like I can completely be I complete. So it's funny because I can be playing my PlayStation 4 right when I hook it up to this stuff, and
Mhm.
I can hook it up, with my monitor to record through OBS, and I will touch absolutely nothing other than click record, move the mouse away, and I'll be playing for 2 or 3 hours, and I have to constantly check, and I'm like I haven't even touched my PC, so like
Yeah.
it's a what you may call it, it's a tick I have.
Well, that happened with Gaio because there was no kind of anything going on the screen, and so I
Hmm.
had like no comprehension. Like we were going for like 5, 10, maybe even like 15 minutes,
Hmm.
and just like having a conversation. And I was kind of like, "Are we actually recording?" It's like, "Yeah, we've been recording the whole time." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh well, I didn't know," and so whatever. So,
Well, he's out of Nevada, and it's in I think Nevada you don't even have to tell people you're recording, which is
really.
yeah, because I know
Hmm.
Wisconsin and Minnesota is a one party state. I know Missouri's a one party state as well too. Don't ask me why I know those. But I think in Nevada you don't have to tell anybody that you're recording at all. Um,
Wow.
yeah. Student loans and an ex girlfriend of mine, I helped her out with something. So, yeah,
Enough said.
fun things that I learned working for the Department of Education. But Vivid Aardvark here has a question for us.
Okay.
He says, I messed up, but how do I win her back? I
Hmm.
messed up, but how do I win her back? I'll keep it short. And he did not keep it short. I, a 17-year-old male, I'm a 17-year-old male, and I really like this girl I work with. After months of messing around at parties, she finally went on a date with me on Valentine's Day. That was a wrong move there. It was great and we had a great time. Things were going really well. Unfortunately, later that night, after our date, I had gone to a party with some friends and got so drunk and ended up kissing this other girl. She was already previously a bit off with me as she knew I had been messing with other girls as well after this date. She found out about this girl I kissed. She told me she was really hurt about it. By the way, we were never officially dating or together, and she stated she wasn't ready to rush into something deadly serious yet. That was our only date. She is very confusing. She's a very confusing girl, so I never know how she really felt about me or ever did. And then I think he kind of goes into it some more here, but it was a drunken mistake and a complete lapse in judgment. I feel so awful about it because she's the only girl I want. After talking about it, she told me that I made her feel awful and that I don't fucking care about the rest.
Okay. First of all, you're 17. You shouldn't be drinking at parties, certainly enough to the point where you're getting drunk. And I don't know what that consists of. If you're 17 and you get drunk off one beer, whatever.
Well, dude,
But
in Germany, you can be 16 and drink.
yeah, but that's different. We're in America. We're still like
Okay.
gonna abide by these laws and say
Okay.
like, okay, even though you can vote at 18 and go off to war and die for your country at 18, there's still the rules that you can't smoke in most places until you're 21, and you can't drink nationwide until you're 21. So at 17 years old, you shouldn't certainly be drinking and then driving because I'm assuming that you drove home afterwards.
Most
So
likely.
big no bueno there.
Oh, wag
Uh,
that finger, son.
Secondly, you're 17. Yeah, your hormones are all out of control. You're probably going to want to have
Spread thine
relations
seed.
with exactly with anyone and everyone that you can. So you shouldn't be trying to lock it down this early. Third, like you're like emotionally just completely an idiot at that age anyway. Like don't worry about it. It's not like she was going to be, your forever person at any point. More than likely, 99% sure that wasn't going to, last forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a lot of life to live, and don't be like, once you guys kind of graduate high school or whatever, you're probably going to be going your separate ways, and the next time you would see her ostensibly would be like at a 5, 10, or 20-year reunion anyway. Like, so
Yeah.
if you miss your shot here, maybe you'll have another shot then. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
I mean, I'm taking so when somebody says that they're a 17-year-old and they're getting so drunk, my thought process is that they may be in another part of the world. But they're celebrating Valentine's Day, so I'm thinking like European Union, the EU, right? I'm kind of taking that stance that they're somewhere there.
Okay.
First off, um, she's a very confusing girl, and she says that she doesn't want to rush into something deadly serious yet. She knows you've been playing with other girls. She knows you're texting with other women. You're trying to lock her down, and she says she's not ready. It's like the same thing I had with that girl in January. She said she wasn't ready. I said, "All right, toots, see you later." And I was just like, "Look, I told you what I was coming. I come into it where I'm looking to lock you down. You know that's what I'm looking for, and you tell me you're not ready? Why the fuck does it matter if you're making out with other women if she's not ready for a relationship? She wants to. To me, she's playing a stupid dumb game that stupid dumb teenagers play, that even some people who are 25 plus play, that are both male and female or whatever else you want to call yourself. And I think it's fucking stupid. It's absolutely fucking stupid that this happens. You should just tell her that she's ridiculous and just
Well,
continue to
I
make
mean,
out with girls drunkenly.
her feelings are her feelings, and whether she wanted like any kind of like committed relationship or not, like she's still entitled to feel like hurt by this, because if she did have any kind of feelings for the guy, like I see it less about her playing a game. Like she is being at least forth, like her playing a game in my mind would be like, oh, like kind of being coy, like I don't know if I want to have a serious relationship. like, and then like, oh, I really do, and I think we should be exclusive, and then like
Yeah.
the next day, like, oh no, I don't know if I'm ready yet. That's playing a game. Like her being honest about how she feels and like being like forthwith with you about like her standpoint on like the relationship or lack thereof is her being honest. I don't think that's games. I think he's the one playing games by saying, "I'm really into this girl, but then I'm gonna go make out with somebody else." Like
Well,
again, I understand from like the drunkenness aspect and
yeah.
also like the hormone aspect of it, but don't say that, "Oh, I'm so madly in love with this girl," and then immediately that like after you drop her off from the date that you just went on, go make out with someone else. You're a fucking idiot.
Well, I
Like
mean, like because he does talk about it here, and this is where I was kind of like figuring out this was a little bit of a game here. She's like, she's a very confusing girl, so I know I never knew how she really felt about me, or did we ever talk about being exclusive? This doesn't make what I did right, just adding context. After she found out, she told me that she did like me, and what I did hurt her a lot. And this is where I call it stupid, is because she finally decides to go on a date with you, tells you that she doesn't want to be exclusive. She doesn't want to jump into anything right now. And she knows that you're playing the field. She knows that you're trying to lock somebody down for a long-term relationship. And if you're not ready, you have every right to feel the way you feel, but you don't get to cause this drama that this guy is having, where she's like, I felt really bad that you made out with Tiffany. And you don't just tell a guy, you're like, hey, I really liked you and it sucks that you made out with Tiffany, I wish it was me. Then why didn't you, why, like, make yourself available for
but
those situations?
he was the one that caused the drama though. Like he was the
It's
one that went on a date with this girl and then made out
mhm.
with someone else. Like if he
But
hadn't
they're not trying to be
like
exclusive. She's not
he
trying to be anything
I
exclusive with
no,
anybody.
I understand that, but I also like I keep getting hung up on him saying like, "Oh, I'm
Hmm.
really like madly in love with this girl and she's the only one for me." Clearly not because you made out with someone else. Like the drunken excuse and the
Hmm.
hormones only get you so far. If you really
Yeah.
truly wanted this other girl to be the only one, whether she was playing games with you or not, then you would be focusing on trying to lock down a relationship with her instead of making out with someone else. Like all the drama was caused by him and no one else. Like he has no one to blame but himself. Like should she have said like, "Oh yeah, I'm hurt that you made out with Tiffany because I was thinking about wanting to be exclusive with you after making it clear that she didn't want to be exclusive." Yeah, okay. To your point, there's a little bit kind of like a game or
Thank you.
like a head game, like messing with his head.
Hmm.
But the drama is caused by him fucking self being a fucking idiot. It's all his fault.
But I mean, okay, so maybe because you've been married for so long, you don't know how to play the game. I had to throw that jab at you. But like, if a girl's like, I don't want to be exclusive, like you go on a date with her and she's like, I really don't want to be exclusive. I don't want to jump into anything. Do you really consider it a date then? And do you really consider like trying to like pine after her? Like she's like, hey, I'm just not ready. Like, do you just stop everything you're doing and just be like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to pine and wait for you till you're ready? Or if you're this guy that's been doing things and playing the field and trying to get
Mm.
with other women because she is like, I'm not available. I see what you're saying. The drunkenness, dude, you're 17. Fuck, stop drinking. Wait till you're 21 or 22, and that's for everybody. But like, I don't see why this is his wrong here, because she made it clear her stance. He's like, all right, I'm going to go do what I normally do. I'm not going to wait for you, which was your thing, is you shouldn't be waiting because you're 17. I feel like it's
Well,
both their problems. And I'll sorry. I'll let you go then. My apologies.
no, that's okay. No, I just again just really hung up with and again he's not so eloquent with his words because he's a
No.
17-year-old kid. He's so I keep getting hung up by the thing about him. You know, like, oh, I'm pining for this girl and she's the only one for me. Like, had it been that they had gone on maybe multiple dates or something, and she just kept reiterating like every time he tries to lean in for a kiss, she's like, "Oh no,
Hmm.
I'm not ready for that. I don't want to be exclusive. I'm not ready for that kind of a committed relationship or whatever." And then he like say that they had gone like 2 3 dates over the course of like a week. Let's just use
Yeah.
a week as an example. And it was like every time it was like that. He's trying to make a move, and she's like, "No, I don't want to be exclusive." And then after a week, he goes to a party and he gets drunk and he makes out with someone else. Then he has this entire like a week's worth of events to say, you told me on multiple occasions that you didn't want any kind of exclusivity. This was the same fucking night that he just went on a date with her.
Mm-hmm.
He said that it was a date, so he
Mm-hmm.
obviously looked at it as a date. She, in hindsight, obviously looked at it as a date. It's the same night. So he is definitely the one that's in the wrong in this instance because there wasn't multiple instances of her like kind of like retreating and saying she didn't want to be exclusive. It was over the course of the one date that they went on, and then he
So
makes out with someone else immediately.
I have to ask this because you're a big feminist, and I'm loving this moment right now. When a woman tells you no, the women want us to take that no and immediately run with it. It is a no. It is a hard and fast no. It is not in the realm of things. Should to your point, he shouldn't have to do those 3 or 4 dates or those 3 or 4 get-togethers to see that no. It and I'm what I don't I'm loathing in this right now. I think is the right way to say it. But like if a woman tells me no, this is not something I'm into. I am not ready for something. I'm not doing it. My immediate thought process is this is no longer a date. This is a great dinner with a really cool chick, and I get to do whatever the fuck I want afterwards. Because if a woman tells me no on something, you better goddamn believe it. I'm like, all right, it's no. Yep, it's a no. Cool. Moving on to the next part. So,
No, fair enough, and
mhm,
that's I think that's a fair assessment for you to make, but he didn't make that distinction because he's still saying he's making out with this other chick,
mhm.
still pining for this first girl and saying she's the only one for me. Clearly, fucking not, dude. Like if he would
Yeah.
have taken that no and saying, okay, then we're just friends. We're having this platonic dinner. It's not a date. It's not a romantic thing. I'm hoping for no conquest with you, so I'm moving on to the next thing. Perfectly fine. But then
Mhm.
him saying, I'm madly in love with this girl and I really messed up and I want her back and blah blah blah. Then you shouldn't have made out with someone else. I again, the drunkenness and the hormones only get you so far. Don't say that you're madly in love with this person and then immediately go to try to fuck someone else.
But I mean,
You're a fucking idiot.
but you can't. You can do it. It's a dumb move. I will give you. Yes, it is a very very stupid move. But like, I could still be in love with my ex, and then have been sleeping with that other girl at the same time because you broke up with me. And I was like, well, I mean, I still love her, and I'd still like to get back with her. But there's also this other girl here who's like willing to give me some things, and I get to live my I get to be I get to feel it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, so he can be valid into both things. But I think the moment that she's like, I'm not ready for a relationship, and then he moved on immediately, I think he was totally justified. Was he wrong with what he was saying afterwards? Where he's like, yeah, I want to get together and do all this other stuff. Yeah, and I wonder if he would have done the same thing if he wasn't drunk, though. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, okay. So again, I'm giving him a little bit of a pass because of
Mm-hmm.
the drunkenness and whatever, and also just because he's young and doesn't know any better and doesn't have the experience and like the hormones when you're 17, they're just raging.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, certainly he made the post saying that he fucked up, so he clearly thinks that he was in the wrong, that he fucked up. If certainly if he was to do that like stone sober, make like consciously make out with someone, because you know the circumstances that you're getting into in the
Yeah.
situation in which you're in. And if you're sober and you're like willingly making out with someone else, then it's a vastly different scenario. Like I'm already calling him an idiot, but if he was
Yeah.
just like to do that sober, then it's just like then you've got like no leg to stand on. Whether she said no or whether he felt that she was like giving him the runaround or playing a game or what, like that. No.
I like how we're both like, yeah, he's stupid, but we have our different reasons. I like that. So Eric, my question to you is: are we exclusive, sir? Am I
Are
allowed
you
to?
in?
Am I allowed to interview other guests on this show?
Of course.
That's gonna be the name of the episode. Are we exclusive? Are we exclusive?
Awesome.
Oh my god. So Eric, I know that the D episode has been giving you some problems. Uh,
Yeah.
are you getting the D enough, bud? Are you
I
okay?
hope. I fully hope. I liked that. I appreciated that joke, but
You're
that's why
welcome.
I said thanks. I hate it because it's just like it did make me laugh out loud, but I also this is like didn't want to admit that I did. I hope by the time that this is posted that we will be past the D episode because yeah, it is like the big thorn in my side that we just can't seem to get past. So
What's the topic? It's movies, right? No, it's
no,
music.
it's music.
Music.
Yeah.
What are you looking for with the D? With the letter D in this? Are you looking for like a music genre that starts with a D? Or are you looking for just anything that just kind of is like D in and of itself?
No, just he has a D group and I have a D group, and
Okay.
so mine is Dashboard Confessional, and his is I think Dion and the Marvels. I think
Okay.
it's like a 50s 60s doo-wop kind of thing.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you'll definitely know the songs that he's picked.
Okay.
You'll have heard them in movies and stuff, and
Okay.
like through like pop culture or whatever, but probably just didn't know like, oh, that's who did that song. Okay.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't surprise me. So hopefully this will be out by the 12th then. Okay. So give us pimp yourself out here because this is coming to the end. I had to slip one more in for you, but yeah, where can we find you? What can
Thank
we
you.
what can we see you on and all that other fun stuff?
So, the D episode that we're talking about hopefully will be posted in file under Entertainment Podcast with Dylan and Eric. We've got an entire season's worth of movie related content. Anyone that listens to Jared's show frequently will have heard me give this spiel probably, I don't know, half a dozen times now. I don't know how long we've been doing this, a
It doesn't
while.
matter. They get to
It's,
listen to your sweet voice,
oh, thank you.
satisfy their eardrums with good sounds.
That's
That came out.
very nice
I had a
compliment.
better idea, but it didn't work. So
No, I take the compliment and I'll run with it. I like it. I don't think it. You know how like the voice sounds in your mind, and it's obviously different than what you hear. Like I
hmm
think in my mind that I have like a pretty decent voice, and then I hear it on recordings, and I'm like, I sound a lot more like feminine, and I think that I do. And Dylan, I let that slip to Dylan one time, and he just like he he barrages me with it. Like
Nice,
he gives me no end of grief. Like
nice.
always gives me shit for that. But yeah, I'm also on the Evil Mark show. And for fans of Jared, you will be able to hear it. Well, yeah,
Yep,
this will be posted after our Mock My World segment
yep.
when we're going to be discussing the greatest single performances in sport, right?
The
So,
greatest single performance, not just in sports, but the greatest single
sing-
performance.
very
Yeah,
true.
yeah, there we go.
Yes. So that it will be on the Mock My World segment. So that's going to be episode 24. So the Evil Mark show, check that out. And there's also some previous guest spots with Jared on there that you can just look through
Uh,
the show notes and whatnot. And
Hopefully, I will be 2 for 3 on the winning of the Mock My World. I came on the first episode. I somehow won it. I didn't even know we were playing for keepsies. I lost to the very talented Rev, who was the previous
mhm.
episode on here, and I'm going up against the associate producer. Is that who he is? And
Yeah, that's the
okay,
joke that we're always running with.
all right.
I
Uh,
didn't know it was a joke initially, but apparently he gets,
yeah, I thought he was the
um,
associate producer. That's why I threw that joke there. I was like, "Gum, put it on in there, big guy."
Mark
So
gives him grief all the time about being associate producer. And so the first time that I said it, like I said it like straight faced, and
yeah,
Mark just like died laughing. And so then I realized that okay, it's a joke, and it kind of gets under Gump's skin. And so I was like, as long as he's not getting super offended, because I don't know him, like
yeah.
I know Mark or like I know yourself, and so I didn't want to just be like, if he really gets offended by it, I didn't want to just like keep harping on it. But no, he rolls with it pretty well, so he will be there. So.
I guess I kind of want to be an asshole here. What does he do? I know that's like a really bad thing to ask when you're like, what do you even do? Like, what does Gump do?
They're in real life friends.
Okay.
They're both in Arizona, so they
Oh,
hang
okay.
out like at the Moose Lodge and stuff. And I guess they've known each other for a number of years. And so I think he was more heavily involved. I think he might have actually been an associate producer for Mark's previous show. Like he did like a political show like back in like 2016, like in the
Oh, okay.
run-ups for like the election, whatever. Um, and I think he did actually have that role in that capacity then. And now it's just like they're friends, and he likes sports, and so he is kind of involved in that capacity. But yeah, we just give him grief that he's associate producer. So.
Speaking of Diablo, I got 3 text messages from Gaio asking me if he wants to play Diablo. Yeah, he literally it's funny because looking at it. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah, he's like, cause yeah, I told him about how I had the 18 sales today when I usually get like 9 or 10. He's like, awesome, congrats, Diablo question mark, Diablo question mark, and I'm like, I'm
Eric
pimping.
won't shut up.
Yeah, hold on. Oh no, I don't. Hey, Gaio, I'm actually recording the newest podcast with Eric here, and he won't shut up, so that's why I'm a little late. Send. There we go. Cool. And that's live on the air. Maybe kind of. No, that's not live. Whatever.
It's a nice
So,
little Easter egg if you're
yeah.
Gaio.
If
Be
you're
like,
Gaio,
oh,
this is
he's
nice little, yeah, nice little
when
Easter
he's
egg.
listening, they're like, oh, this is
Yeah,
nice from 3 weeks ago.
yeah, nice
That
from three
happened.
weeks ago. So the Evil Mark show, I will actually be on the third. Is when it comes out, right? It comes out the next day.
Yes.
Yep. So I'll be on it
If
on March.
that's again, I don't. Time has just been so fucking weird.
Yeah, because it's the second, and then actually, Mark is
Let
going
me
to be on
see.
my show tomorrow.
That's awesome. Yeah, it will be. It'll be released on the 3rd of
Okay,
March. Yeah. So
and then
go back in time.
yeah,
Go
go,
back in time.
and then
Like that.
yeah, I like that. I don't know what song you're referencing to, but it was nice.
From
Very nice.
from Back to the Future.
I very rarely remember those movies.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say that you haven't seen him, and I was gonna be like, "Oh my God, they're on like every 5 minutes on like TNT. You have to watch." The first one's great.
I don't have
Second one's
TV.
good. Third one, you don't have TV.
No,
What?
I don't have cable television at all. I haven't
Oh,
had cable television since 2003.
holy shit!
Yeah, no, I like Netflix pirate. I used to be a pirate, and then I got caught downloading
What?
something.
I you told the story
Oh yeah, I
about
did.
like about sending the check.
Yeah, I sent the
So,
check. I sent the check, and that was. I've been very very wary to be a pirate ever since then. But yeah, no, dude, like I haven't had cable television since like 2003. So anything I watch
wow.
comes literally through the internets.
And
Like I mean,
are
I
they
have
not
the.
on Netflix?
Well, I mean, like they probably are, but like I have the Roku, and then I have the Fire Stick because the Fire Stick came with the smaller TV that I had, and
Okay.
like I load up like unsolved mysteries, but it's like watch IMDb's unsolved mystery marathon, the same 50 episodes, and like I just watch
Eh,
that. Like I don't,
yeah,
it's background. A lot of it's background for me or the birds, so
sure. But man, that's got to be on one of those things. You
it
think?
probably is, but I just don't care enough. I like it's whatever.
That's fair. No, that's
Ugh.
fair. There's just yeah, there just too many things, too many options, and too many entertainment deals to take up our viewership and time. There's not enough hours in the day.
No,
So
there is not. Dude, I suffered for it last night because Rev was chit chatting with me a little bit, and like I was about that hour, and I was like, let's try to keep it to an hour. Let's keep it to an hour and a half, and then I think I ended it at about an hour 20, hour 45 or something like that. And then he had a couple of questions afterward, and I was like, oh, I'll answer a bunch of questions. And then I was like, I'm gonna try to finish, but the Behind the Bastards on Alex this Nikolai the second, the Tsar Nicholas the second or whatever. And next thing I know, it was like 2 in the morning. It's like I gotta be up at fucking 8:30 a.m. today, and I've been lacking sleep, and then the sinus have been like I'm like good. So when you're like yeah, work's been hell, I'm like I'm right there with you, chief. It's just
we had like polar opposite days though. Like so
yeah.
you were up until 2 a.m. I think I was waking up to let the dogs out for the second time at 2 a.m.
Oh
Dude,
my god,
I was in bed at 7 p.m. last night, dude.
what the
Like
fuck?
yeah, like I was just we're like got done eating dinner and we were just like sitting on the couch watching TV and I was just like nodding off and she's like it must have been a rough day, huh, babe? And I'm like, yeah, it's been like a rough week. It's been a rough month. It's been a rough fucking year. Like I was just beat. And she's like, you want to just go to bed? Like it's only 7 o'clock. Like, but I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was kind of concerned, like, am I going to be able to like sleep through the night? Or so like the
Mhm.
first time the dogs woke me up was like probably 10:30, which is when I would normally start thinking about maybe possibly going to
Oh,
bed in the near future.
okay,
And yeah, I had already been asleep for like 3.5 hours by that
nice.
time. So I was like, yeah, and I slept until the alarm went off. And like even after all that sleep, when the alarm went off this morning, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like I did not want to get up. So,
Usually
but
whenever I go to bed before 10 o'clock, like I wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning and I am up. because like my body's like, nope, we hit the maximum allotted sleep hours, and I'm just awake, and there I am at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I have nothing to do. Like
Yeah.
I can watch YouTube videos. Like I try not to disturb the birds, because like they wake up with the sun. But oh, in the
Mm.
summertime at like 6 o'clock in the morning, they're already fucking awake. So I'm getting kind of excited for spring. Getting excited for
You.
spring. Well, Eric, it has been an absolute pleasure as always. Hang out after the podcast so we can talk
Yes, sir.
about a few things because I have a question I want to ask you. But
Yeah.
so check out Eric on Mock My World as well as File Entertainment. Remember, as always, Susias are my favorite. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. I have been Jared. This has been Eric, and this was episode 112, possibly, maybe. We'll see you on the next episode, everybody.